like driving to a location or gliding to a location?
I think I'm still looking for gliding.
But I wonder if they'll add the Origins like quick time, bat plane or whatever, to transport to each location.
Yeah, fast travel. That is pretty sick, jumping out of it and having it just skid to a stop.
The game just looks so big. Like for me, like I like that, but like I also like to look at everything and like scan everything. Like, it's just not gonna happen this time.
Okay, I need to put in a video. Oh fuck, I'm hungry. Ooh. Wow, I should really read before I post. Okay. So I went to that game in Tampa. Oh man. It was a lot of fun.
Who'd you go there with?
Oh, a friend from work. She was really annoying. Don't tell her I said that. Oh shit, we're live. No, she won't listen to this. I'm not that worried. Dan, have you seen the trailer for Mission Impossible 5?
No.
You should watch it right now. I know Jeremy's seen it. He's for sure seen it. Ooh, what are you guys eating over there that's particularly crunchy?
Chips and salsa.
The loudest foods possible.
What'd you choose?
Dan, watch the trailer. Seriously. For reals.
Right.
We've never met before, right?
Okay, I'm gonna grab a beer while you guys are doing that.
Ethan, where are you? The syndicate is real. A rogue nation trained to do it. You would bring down the syndicate. It's impossible. Desperate times. Desperate measures. You have your seatbelt on? You want to be that now? Oh my god!
Yeah, I know.
man.
Last night, yeah.
Jeremy,
Said you were looking forward to like actually sleeping.
What?
did you see that video I tweeted you the other day?
No.
Go check your Twitter account. I mean, I know you never use it, but I thought it was pretty funny. It's perfect pre-show. So I've changed my mind, by the way. I'm not drinking beer. I'm going to have some wine. I cracked a bottle of wine.
We don't care.
Well, someone might care. Someone might care. I mean, there's got to be someone out there. I'm drinking a nice Pinot Noir.
God.
Named, you want to know what the name is, though?
Oh.
Fat Bastard. I'm going to tell you anyway. It's called Fat Bastard. Ready or not.
See this?
Yeah, I can see this
Actually, he's the boss. I just pay for everything, design everything, make everyone look cooler.
There's another sick mode that's kind of room for us, too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Well, all those.
No, that's the name there for.
Show him what
We think of another moment that's sick. Like, that one we've seen. When Thor smokes Cap's shield.
Hey, big guy.
That's all in the swing. If you step out that door, you're an adventure.
You didn't see that coming?
All right, it's time for some fun.
Hey, Dan, didn't David Spader do a voiceover in this Community episode from today?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I'm not sure. Okay, yeah,
You haven't seen it yet?
they said David Spader and voice impersonator, but I wasn't sure if it was actually. It might have actually been David Spader. I'm going to check that before we get on the show.
Very carefully. Where is Hunt?
New season 6, IMDb, episode 3. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Advanced Gay. That's season 3. Gay?
How's it work? Did you have to pay for it to watch it?
What? No, so I got, what I've done for watching Community is I downloaded an extension for Chrome. It's called Hola, like H-O-L-A, like hello in Spanish. And it like just integrates right away. And if you want to watch, you can go to any page. You can say either I'm from Canada or I'm from the United States or whatever, and you can watch it like that.
Huh.
I use that to watch TSM
PlayStation
videos.
View, though.
What?
PlayStation View, though.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think we'd get access to that in Canada, right?
No.
No. We don't get anything cool.
I think you do.
I don't think so. The PlayStation View is like only in like 3 cities, like that, like TV service that they're doing.
I know it's rolling out though. It'll be everywhere.
It'll be states only for a while, I imagine. It's only in like Chicago, Philadelphia, and like Detroit or something like that. IMDb. What? I keep getting distracted. What was I doing? Episode season 6 basic crisis room decorum, and I want to see if he's actually cast the No, it doesn't say.
You see my Lego set up there?
Yeah.
You got new Jeremy, you got new Legos?
Yeah.
Tell me about them.
Sinestro and Green Lantern Lego set.
Those are real? You can buy what? For real though? Like actual, like official ones?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's the coolest thing I've ever heard. All day. I haven't heard a lot of cool things today.
Right.
Right?
They're pretty cool.
Yeah, I came with spacesuit Batman.
Spacesuit? No.
Yeah. Why would a spacesuit need wings?
Dan.
The glide, like he just has a booster pack, and then this.
Because what happens if he falls into atmosphere? He needs to be able to have wings. You know?
And it shoots too. How do you name for your balls?
Dan, you have the show notes pulled up there?
No.
You should probably just
Like this?
pull those up. Don't mean to, yeah, there you are.
Seth
No, that's
Rogen's
me.
Seth Rogen's lantern trapped.
Oh,
And then
yeah?
you're supposed to fling. You can put Green Lantern on this thing, and you like fling it. Then like you like,
Oh, it's crazy.
and then you can get the lantern. You can hold it.
All right, here you go, Dan. I'm gonna send it to you through the Skype call. How do I? Where's the? How do I? Oh, there it is.
We're a little busy right now.
There you go. Man, I wish I had enough bandwidth so I could actually see what you guys are doing, because I feel like I would just be so disappointed.
Why would you not want to play with like super?
Yeah, no.
Like,
Dan's like worried about paying bills and stuff.
Yeah.
I think we got a good show ahead of us. I'm really excited. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Then you'll say something?
Hey, test.
No, that looks good. That does look good. Ready and
what have you been doing? Like I don't understand. Like,
what am I doing?
yeah, are you turning dials and stuff? Like,
Yeah, I have so many dials. I'm twisting, and there's the consoles. Testing, 1. Yeah, so it's a very complicated process. You wouldn't understand.
just like some images of the view. What it would look like. So I don't know how you like pay for things, but
Do you want to talk about View, Jeremy?
no, I don't know. I don't know anything about it really. I just saw these images.
I don't want to talk about it until it's like completely released. Apparently, it's like you get
I
like
just
80
think it'll be, like,
channels.
But I just think it's cool because like, it's like good channels, though. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like with shows like Gotham and stuff. You know?
Yeah, it's got like actual cable channels. I think what they're doing is really different than the rest of them. Is that they have like local stations, like your local news and stuff that you can watch, which is different than what like Sling TV is doing. You know,
So what's the price though? Like what's like what?
it's $50 a month.
50?
$50, 50. Yeah.
Oh, that's too much.
God damn.
Well, I mean, it's like 80 channels. You know the Sling. Where you guys heard about Sling TV? So the
No.
same guys who do Slingbox, like that's the thing that I used to watch, like Jets games and stuff. Over here in the Cayman Islands, which like just lets you watch your TV from anywhere, right? So they did a partnership. They have like ESPN, Discovery, all these different like big channels, right? And it's like $15, $20 a month, I think, like that, something like that. And you get access to those basic channels. Then you can do like $5 add-ons, like if you want a sports add-on, or if you want like a kids net show add-on, like each are $5. If you add all of them up, it's like $45 a month. But if you didn't have all those, it would only be like $20 a month. And that does the streaming TV stuff, and it has ESPN, which the View doesn't. There's a lot of these different ones popping up, like HBO Now is going to be exclusive to like iTunes or like Apple for a month or something like that when it releases at the beginning of Game of Thrones season, and then it's going to be included the rest of it. Like it'll expand out, but I'm just waiting for this to like kind of like settle in so I can like pick one that I think is the best and the cheapest, and actually have like cable TV again, except just over the internet. Okay. Let's just tweet out. We'll be starting soon.
Oh, shit, I didn't even look at these notes.
What did you do all day?
What did I do all day?
Both of you.
I went golfing.
You just sent me these notes.
I went golfing and then wrote all these show notes.
Oh yeah, you're so busy.
Well, I mean, today I haven't golfed in like 3 months, so you can give me a break, right, on that one. fuck! I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I almost tweeted out the link to the show notes.
Anybody can access the show notes.
Well, I guess I could,
Almost.
I guess, if I wanted, but then that would be allow everyone to just, I should just post them, like this is what we taught, and then that way people can like read.
Well, yeah, it takes you 5 hours to make them, so you might as well.
Well, it does take me a long time to make them. It's a lot, and it takes a lot more time than not making them, like you do. What do you contribute?
Okay, good one.
I mean, I wasn't the most eloquent, but it's true, Even if
You
it
see
took
that-
5 minutes, that's 5 minutes longer than you gave.
Did you see that article about the plot for Commando 2?
Yes, I have it in the show notes.
Yeah. Phil's reading the plot. Dan, you gotta read it.
You got chills.
Yeah.
I thought you might be excited about that. I put it in there just for you,
It
Jeremy.
just reminded me of like us making like Associate or something like that. You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
just this, yeah. It's like,
like,
we saw a movie.
Like building, taking all these bad guys. Like, it'd just be so cool to see a sequel to that in that time.
It's funny because it's like, it's exactly that. Because like, look how big of a hit Die Hard was, and then they're like, let's just make a Commando Die Hard movie. It's really what it is.
Yeah.
So I have a really cool business idea that I actually want to do and I'm actually going to start working on a business plan, and I'll share with you guys after we're not, live and stuff. Not that it really matters, but keep it under wraps. For now.
In terms of what?
Well, just something that I've been trying to, I've been trying to think of something I want to do, like an actual trying to come up with a business idea that I actually think is like that will actually work.
Just for where you are?
Not for where I am. No, for back home actually. And I think the time is right for it. But we'll talk about it later. Let me know when you guys are good to go. We can start the show whenever.
Does it involve us?
No, I mean not unless you wanted to be involved. I wouldn't lock you out, but I'm not like this. The plan does not hinge on your involvement.
Yeah, I think we're ready to go when you are.
Well, okay, I'm good to go. I'm just gonna top up my wine here, and then we're good to go. You guys have any beverages? Any that you guys are having over there, consuming?
Bottle of water.
Oh, okay. Well, party
Did you
time.
want to attend, or are you interested in that, or
What? Sorry.
nothing? I'm making fun of you.
Well, I don't pick up on that. People make fun of me all the time. You just water off a duck's back. Okay. Okay. I am going to start the stream now. Hey guys, welcome to the Tower Babble podcast, episode 52. Who thought we would have made it this far? Considering I remember asking these guys about episode 52 months and months ago, saying, "Hey, do you guys want to do anything special for episode 52?" Because DC, DC. That 52 is a big number, right? And I thought you guys that's like months away. Why do we need to talk about that? And now here we are, and we are not doing anything special for episode 52. It's just another number. I'm Julian Mush. I'm joined by my co-hosts Daniel D'Souza,
Yo.
Jeremy Kozier,
Hey.
and we got a big show in store for you guys this week. Lots of stuff to talk about, but let's start with the the best DC news of all. To commemorate episode 52, let's start by talking about the fact that Arkham Asylum, the sequel to Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight, has been delayed once again. I feel like we talked about this last episode. Was it only not last episode that it was delayed?
No, we mentioned it because Uncharted was delayed. We likened it to that.
Anyway,
So a lot
so
of these next gen games are being delayed.
Yeah, so it's been delayed again. This time not as big. New release date is now June 23rd. It'll be releasing worldwide, making this delay just a few weeks later than the second release date of June 2nd, which is about 8 months later than the original release date of October 14th of last year. So is this really that? It's not that big of a deal, really, when you think about it.
No, 2 weeks isn't.
But it feels wrong, you know?
Well, it's just aggravating to have it bump back again. It's not even, it's not the time so much as the fact that they're doing it.
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks is fine.
I think. Wait, go ahead.
No, 2 weeks is fine. It's not a. It's not the. It's like Dad said. It's not the number. It's the fact that they've now done a second delay, and that's what it feels really bad, and it looks really bad. I think the optics of it are worse than the actual.
It's like how many letters do you write saying an explanation?
Yeah.
Sorry, but our original vision, this time they can't do that. They just do a little post because it's only 2 weeks, so whatever. My biggest concern about all this stuff is news outlets and articles. All the main title is Arkham Knight is delayed again. Right? That's all it says. Everyone thinks another 4 months, whatever.
No offense, but what should they be saying? What should be the
they're
headline?
saying that on purpose because you be like, what?
Yeah,
How
it's
long? You want to click on it? You know what I mean? They're just they like these types of stories because it gets them viewership and clicks and whatnot.
Well, I don't the good news out of it is that we got a new gameplay trailer. And so we can't complain about that. Do you guys want to talk? What do you guys take away from that trailer?
No, it's actually, it was all done on PS4, right?
Yeah, that's what it says captured from.
Oh, it looks crazy. All the water dynamics and the lighting, it looks almost photorealistic. It's insane.
And it's just so big. When he's high up, you see all the details in the ground. There's no draw distance or whatever. Not like we have that, but you can decipher everything that's going on from so far away, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, all the details there on the same scale.
Yeah.
I love that it feels and looks a lot like the old games, but just super enhanced. The way that when you take down a bad guy in a fight, right? The way that they crumple to the ground and how it zooms in on the last guy, right? That feels all very Arkham. It feels right. But then there's still those new flourishes, the highlighted, if a guy's holding a bat, it'll be highlighted in his hand, right? So you know who's a more important target, and you can prioritize your combat and who to take out first. I like that. The small things, when obviously Daniel mentioned, the really detail of everything, just down to the how the brake discs or whatever is kind of red as the Batmobile's playing because it's still hot, right? That's cool. But while we're talking about Arkham, I might as well put this in here now. Is that according to rumor, is that there will be an Arkham collection coming out this year in time for the holidays for the PS4 and Xbox One, and it'll be a remastering of Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. It's weird that it wasn't out. It wouldn't be out before Arkham Knight, unless they delayed it again. But we've talked about this before. This seems like something that it seems like a no-brainer. Hey,
of course, yeah.
This is also a big talk amongst the gaming community too. Is the word remaster and collections, and people are kind of getting pissed off about games that were just currently, basically available, and then you're just slapping it on the new gen consoles with 60 frames per second instead of
what are we doing different here? You're not redoing the graphics. You're not.
With that
HD.
Arkham collection. Yeah, with the Arkham collection. Yeah, that's the thing. If it's on PS3 or Xbox 360, they're already in HD. What more do you want if you're not going to add more content or up-res, more pixels or something? You know what I mean? What more are you going to do?
The idea would be it's cool to own the collection all on the one system.
Yeah.
You don't want to pull out your PS3 again to play the old games, which is fair. I get that.
That's the camp I fall in. Is I love collections where there's at least 3 games.
I think we all know that Jeremy loves collecting.
Because on the PS3, you had all those God of War games, 2 collections, right? PSP games, plus the other ones.
There's the Origins
PS2
collection,
games,
PS2 ones.
Splinter Cell, Prince of Persia, all these games that were on PS2, which I missed, and most people. And the gap is just bigger because of the HD factor, right? So that's the main reason why I like those collections. But now, I don't even know. I don't think I'd buy this Arkham collection. I just don't think I need it. Like,
I mean, consider this though. When's the last time you played Arkham Asylum? You know,
I actually played
I
it pretty recently.
I still have the disc though.
right? Yeah, but and then do you have your? I guess you're one of the few people that still has. If you own a PS4, still has your PS3 hooked up. I mean, I assume you do.
I'm keeping those both hooked up for a long time until the PS4 can start streaming video content and whatnot. Then I need my PS3 still.
Sure.
Plus the games.
And for me, and I'm kind of in a different camp where I don't have access to my PS3. It's not like I don't have it anymore, but I live in a different country. My PS3 is back home, right? But for a lot of people, when they get a new console, they trade in their old one or they they give it to someone, so they don't have access to their old console anymore. And they, Arkham Knight's going to be, for some people, their first Batman game. I mean, that's... So being able for those other people to be able to go and do it, play those older games, the original 2 from the trilogy, is, I think, important, but it just seems like we're getting a lot of them. And, like, for instance, this next one I'm going to talk about, like, God of War 3 is being remastered as well. Thank you for bringing up God of War earlier. Is being remastered for the 10th anniversary of God of War. It'll be out for the PS4 on July 14th. But again, is this a game that needs to be remastered? I mean, this game, it looks gorgeous, right? It still looks amazing.
Yeah, because everyone said it was kind of towards the end of the life cycle of PS3. It looked great. It was expansive, enormous, everything, all that stuff. But it makes sense because we haven't really had a substantial God of War game since that one. And it doesn't look like there's going to be one anytime soon.
Well, I don't know.
10 year, well, we don't know yet, obviously, but like,
yeah.
I don't feel like they're going to have a trailer for God of War and say it's out in 5 months. Like, that's just never going to
No, I agree, but the timing of this announcement, right, that we're going to release this God of War 3 remaster, it's going to be out, I think, is that July 14th? Is that right before, when is E3? Is it in August? I believe it is, yeah.
I think it's just June or July, isn't it?
It's right around the
yeah. So it's right around. Either way, it's right around the time that they're releasing this game, the remastered. It's kind of like they're setting it up for an announcement for a new God of War at E3. Right.
But like, I wish it's such a big number, like the 10-year. That's a huge number. It's almost like they should have included the PS3 collections on the same disc.
Yeah, that would make more sense, right?
Yeah, like release like a big like
every
leather
game
case or something. You know what I mean?
Rich mahogany.
With like gold lettering for God of War, like that would be the it's the the entire universe right there.
Yeah.
I mean those. So we just talked about collections and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the reason I played the original 2 God of Wars is because they were released on collection, right?
But the thing is, if you were to trade your PS3 in, you can't play that collection anymore.
I agree. But here's the thing, though, because you can't keep bringing it forward over and over and over again. Like no one's doing a collection of games that are for the Sega Genesis, right? I mean, you can play them on your Wii U.
On PS3 and Xbox, there's a Genesis collection of
yeah, but there's not going to be another one of those for the PS4.
I wouldn't be surprised if there were. But like those games are classics, and these games, God of War and Arkham, they probably will become They essentially are classics from the PS3 era,
Yeah. Well, we're just in the next gen phase right now, where we're getting a game that is just bigger and better than before, and to set the game up, they're re-releasing the PS3 360 games, for the new audience who maybe didn't have that system before. So that makes sense. They're going to get sales from that. But for me, who has collections and stuff, I don't want to just buy the one game that's remastered. I kind of want the whole series, on a disc.
If you're going to remaster it, you might as well do the whole thing. But then my argument being, or maybe their argument, or for not doing that, is that do you really want to play a PS2 game on your PS4? Because it's not going to look good. It's not. It's just, you're going to play God of War 1 and 2 on your PS4. And
I mean, they didn't look great on the PS3 either.
It'll look the same on the PS3 or PS4. It's what it is. It's an HD remaster of old graphics.
No, it's one thing to say, hey, play this game that came out last generation. It's another thing to say, hey, play this game that came out 2 generations ago.
Yeah, but you're not buying it just for that game. You get it as bonus content.
It's an option.
Yeah, it's not going to tack on $10 to the total price.
No, I get it. But I mean, it's kind of moot because it's not happening anyway. So, I agree. If you're gonna do the package, you might as well just do it all with any of these. Yeah. Like, just do the whole thing.
They're not gonna do it all because they're gonna save money and they're gonna sell this one game, whatever, to the new audience. They're gonna sell all those copies. No problem.
I haven't played the last 2 God of War. I guess no, the last one. I guess it was God of War 3, then there was Ascension, and then that was it, right?
That's it.
I bought God of War 3, didn't even touch it.
Really? God of War 3 is really good.
Still in its wrapper.
Why? That
Because
makes me
that's Jeremy.
so angry.
I know, and that's the thing though. Is like this. It doesn't excite me, but it's like, hey, maybe if I
Oh, maybe
But I
now,
might
now
as
I don't
well-
have to take the wrapper off.
exactly. I might as well play it on the PS4. But like, I don't know. This also reminds me of backwards compatibility. You know what I mean? Like, I wish it was just all unified. I don't want to have collections on the PS2, collections on the PS3, and then a remaster of one of those games on the PS4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that sucks.
It's all over the place.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't. That's what I mean. You can't just keep dragging these old
No, I know.
consoles around with you.
Yeah, that's a collector's mentality. You know what I mean? Like, that I have. But I mean, I don't know. That's just where I'm at. Like, I want everything unified. Like, that's the best thing ever. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, once PlayStation Now is kind of up and running,
and once a
We'll have that
remaster,
kind of stuff.
yeah, once an HD game comes out on a PS3, what like does it really need to be remastered? You know what I mean?
No, I don't
Yeah,
think.
well,
The answer is no.
The answer is no, because you can toss in God of War 3. It's full 1080p or 720 or whatever, depending on what TV you're using, and it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
The,
I mean,
the only thing but apparently they're adding more textures.
Yeah, they're retouching it. They're making it. They've released a couple of screenshots. It does look pretty impressive.
Noticeable.
Well, it looks impressive, but it's not to the point where you're like, yeah, that's like it looks like a PS4 game. It just looks like an up-res PS3 game, which still doesn't look bad because it's one of the best looking games.
But then to the untrained eye or anybody, I mean, like, I feel like you're not going to be able to see a difference.
Yeah, probably.
and you're honestly probably right.
And Last of Us made sense because they wanted to get that game was still in the mindshare, and people who didn't have a PS3 now is their chance to play that
Yeah,
game.
because a lot of people who didn't own PS3s had bought PS4s.
Right. And that's a perfect quote unquote launch game or whatever you could say for PS4.
Yeah.
It was bundled for a while, wasn't it? You could, if you bought a PS4, you got
Yeah, it was.
yeah. It's still everywhere, that bundle.
I got that one.
And I think every bundle from now on has that game for free, I'm pretty sure.
Really?
It's a download code.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't gone back and replayed it since the one. I've only played it once. I mean, I think, and I'm kind of like happy with that. You know, I'm kind of like
we
content.
talked about like that's your one experience, and like you don't necessarily need to play it again because really it's not very video gamey, right? It's a very cinematic experience.
It's a linear story.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we ever got into the big discussion about like how often we rewatch movies, or in this case, replay games. But like, I watch something once, and like I almost never go back and watch it again a second time. I think of most of the Marvel movies,
unless it's a cult hit or a classic,
or it's something you see on TV all the time, right? Like,
I don't know. I have certain movies that I kind of watch.
No, me too.
You know, I watch Watchmen at least once a year.
Yeah,
probably.
absolutely. The thing is, that only takes you, max 2 hours, right? Like you can do that, no problem. With The Last of Us or whatever, you have to put effort into that.
I replay the Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, and also Mass Effect 2 and 3 once a year as well.
what?
Yeah.
How do you find the time for that?
I don't know if you
Like,
do
I tried
all
to.
Mass Effects, but you'll pop it in.
No, I haven't replayed 1, but I've played 2 and 3 like a couple times.
Yeah,
Beaten it a couple
one
times.
you can buy digitally, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I kind of want.
PS3.
I got to get that.
Well, the way I think about it is, Jeremy, and by the way, speaking of Mass Effect, that Mass Effect collection for the PS3 is like the coolest, is one of the nicest box sets of any collection I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's my number one favorite collection I have.
And it's like, and what are we going to see in like 3 months? We're going to find out about the next Mass Effect, whatever, Mass Effect 4, and then we're going to get this released again,
Yeah. No, but I think a while ago they were talking about Mass Effect coming on the next gen consoles, and the story went away.
Well, no, we know they're working on it. They've kind of given us like one screenshot or something art.
Well, that's good though. I mean, I feel like they're putting a lot of love and care into that. Yeah. Because it's already done that collection basically. You know what I mean? With whatever retouches and whatnot. Now they just have to enhance that even more. And that's another one that I'm excited for because it's going to be all 3 games, all Shepard story. Sure, I have it on PS3, but now maybe they're adding more shit to it. You know what I mean? And it's all of the games.
It is, yeah. It's good to keep that. That's one of those ones that, well, for me, like I already said, I play it every year, so it would make sense for me to have it for that.
Yeah, and I've never even played Mass Effect 1.
Another incentive is also trophies and achievements, right? If you really like that stuff and you replay these games every time they release them, then you're getting more trophies for the same game.
Oh, yeah, man. You should see all the trophies I got from playing God of War 1 and 2 on the PS3. Whew.
Yeah, I know. You gotta I can't believe how many silvers there are. I remember looking through both of yours because I had the game. I was like, I'll play this, whatever. I was like, I gotta play this now because there's I don't know. I still have silvers.
You haven't finished it.
You beat the game, it's like you get 3 gold trophies just for beating
But
it.
now I've fallen off the trophy bandwagon. I don't really care anymore. But.
Yeah,
What?
I mean, I feel like trophies to me is more of a sign of how many games you played, not so much how good you are at games, you know, because like most
Depends,
people
like,
who
there are
play
certain trophies that
I'm
are
the other way around. I think it shows you how good you are. How
no,
much
because you can
you-
play 1,000 games and get them and still be level.
Well, no, you only really
7.
care about the platinums
Yeah,
or like
that's-
the hard golds. You
That's
know?
what I say. I don't care about the total. I care about your platinums and your golds and whatnot, right?
And I don't want to get into the discussion whether how many total trophies you have versus what level you are versus how many platinums is what's important. It really doesn't matter. It's fake trophies.
No, of
Because
course.
it doesn't matter because it's obvious that you're a better gamer if you have more platinums. It's just how it works.
Well, no, not if you had a whole bunch of.
Because I know 2 people who buy every single game, play it once, keep it in the library, trade it in, and they have way more trophies than all of us combined.
Yeah.
They just buy every game and they just need to play it.
Well,
But we get a game, we thoroughly play it if we like it, and if we really like it, we'll try to platinum it, right?
I platinum
That's
Battlefield
just
3.
more about gaming experience
I agree.
and what you think about games.
I mean, but there's no right and wrong way to play a game. So to say that
Oh,
someone's
there's no right
you
or
know,
wrong. Yeah, you do how you want to. It just, I respect the platinum more
Yeah, but
so.
there's
than-
so many bullshit platinums out there, you know? Like, there's so many...
Yeah, I'm not saying Hannah Montana. I'm saying good platinums.
No, I get you. I get you. Okay, so those, I don't say they're the big gaming stories, but other than this one story, there really isn't any bigger story this last 2 weeks that there is to talk about. So I wanted to get the Batman stuff out of the way because it felt like mixed in with the 52 thing I started with. But Nintendo had a big press conference isn't really the right word. I did like a Nintendo Direct, I think is what they call it. And they announced among other things, but the big 2 is that they are announcing a partnership with Japanese mobile company DNA, spelled D-E-N-A, which is weird, but that's the Japanese for you. We'll be creating...
Is
Say stuff like that.
No, well, they do that kind of stuff, you know.
the logo? The E is small though. Like,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a D, small
So it's
E.
like extending
and
the
A.
It's like duh and a.
Yeah.
Didn't it? Yeah.
But it's, like,
DNA.
it's supposed to be pronounced DNA, like the genome.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, they'll be. That's not what's important. What's important is that they're creating new, and this is important, new games developed for smartphones that will feature their IP. So for a long time, Nintendo has said, we don't want anything to do with smartphone gaming. We think it's stupid. We think it's not real gaming. They've used really disparaging terms towards smartphone gaming.
And it was pretty much last year that Iwata this came to a front where it was official their stance on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't. It
Everyone
wasn't
was
very long.
talking about it. Why don't you do this? You'll make tons of money. You know.
And especially they were getting a lot of pressure from their shareholders, which we'll get to. That's all part of this. So the partnership also includes the development of a multi-device online membership service across multiple platforms. The closest thing to a PSN or Xbox Live that Nintendo has ever even proposed. I guess the idea behind the move is that they're, according to Nintendo at least, is to expose more people to their IPs and then in turn bring them on to dedicated gaming machines that they already have, like their 3DS and Wii U. They're not going to do ports. That's where I underscored the new games. That Iwata kind of said that there's very particular control set for for mobile gaming that porting doesn't really work. As soon as you have a virtual D-pad and buttons, then you're already lost, really. And they also mentioned that they want to maintain the value of their IP, so they're not just going to throw a Mario Endless Runner on there and just although that would probably be a very good game, but they want to make sure that their characters that are important to them, like the Marios, the Zeldas, the Samuses, that the value of those characters remains really high. And then what else? You
don't want to overindulge in those characters.
No, exactly. You don't want to just throw them. You don't want a. I was gonna say you don't want a Mario themed Tetris game, but that already exists. Anyways, Iwata has also said that he thinks that this is more recently since the announcement, says that he thinks that free-to-play games are insincere and really should be called free-to-start games, and that he doesn't really believe in that model, but doesn't believe.
He's being honest.
That's kind of a good point.
And it's also a translation, so I don't know how stern he is about
Well,
that.
no, he did also say that he believes in that model as a feasible model for making money. He doesn't like it, but he thinks that it's business wise it can make sense.
This is also crazy too because like he was under a lot of scrutiny recently too, from like the failure of like the Wii U and whatnot, and like you can kind of tell it. This is like his huge proposal or his huge project he's doing to try to turn the ship around. And yeah, it's just cool seeing like all these changes they're trying to make right now.
Well, it's interesting to see how Nintendo reacts, especially as a public company, to pressures from their shareholders.
Yeah.
When they're not doing well, they're all gung ho with sticking to their own methods and being their own company and doing their own kind of thing when they're making money and they have the Wii and it's everyone's buying it and it's crazy successful. They released the Wii U. The 3DS was kind of shaky. The Wii U's not in good shape, and all of a sudden now they're doing stuff that you would have never seen them do. Even 2 years ago, right? And
they're in that sort of survival mode, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, something.
You have to though. Like you have to evolve as a company, or you won't survive. And
out of all the companies, who do you expect not to do this? It'd be Nintendo. So it's just awesome that they're actually doing it.
And well, you mentioned, you said like, yeah, they're trying to do this to survive. And following the announcement, Nintendo stock has took a bump and it went up almost 40%. So obviously the shareholders think this is a good idea. I mean, like I said, they've been getting pressure from that same group for a long time because really there's a lot of money in mobile gaming that they've been leaving on the table for years now, right?
And it's good that they started listening to everybody in the gaming industry who talked about this. You know what I mean?
I see. If that's the thing, I don't see it that way. I don't think they're actually listening to those people. I think they're just their hand is being forced.
Yeah, not necessarily, but like it was a huge discussion like months ago. Like it wasn't even that long ago.
No, it wasn't. That's the big part of it. Is that.
And that's what I mean. Like I don't say like, oh, they're saying this, let's do it. Like maybe it was already in their plans. It's just they know it's time to actually do it now.
And well, and the part that's everyone's talking about the games or whatever, what kind of games we might get. Maybe a Pokemon RPG for the like Nintendo, like Pokemon Red or Blue kind of style game for your iPhone, right? Like that would people love like
huge.
That would be huge.
They have a lot of IP, and I don't think they'll have like a Mario game, a Luigi game, a Wario game, like like you said, because it won't dilute those characters in that brand. But there are a lot of games on the 3DS eShop or whatever that are just like super expensive, like $15, $7, right? And I just can't see them selling. And like, there's a lot of weird, unique, cool games on there, and I can see those like not ported, but like using those IPs and those type of games,
maybe, and
making them for the iPhone or whatnot.
If you're in the marketing department at Nintendo, if I was there, I would be hoping, at least praying to God, that they believe and understand the pricing structure of mobile gaming.
Oh no, they will absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
Can't sell $15 game on the iPhone. It won't sell
because those are on a system that games are regularly $39.99, right? No. So they feel like if a kid goes on the shop or whatever, anybody like they'll just spend the $7 or $14. They won't. When these games are ported, not ported, but like kind of moved over or used for the smartphones, they're going to be priced low because they have so many of these games on the 3DS or whatever that they can toss on so many onto these smartphones that they can sell them for cheap.
Well, they say they don't want to port games. They said they don't want to port games they already have.
No, I don't mean. I'm just saying port as in get these games over. Yeah. But they, you know what I mean? Like they use those IPs in a way for those smartphones.
No,
you know what I mean? You guys haven't. You don't have a 3DS or whatever. But like you go in the store, there's a lot of virtual console games and a ton. Like I'm talking a ton of just random games.
Well, let's toss out some ideas. What games? I mean, and I didn't mention this before, but according to the announcement, they will be expecting some of these games as early as the end of this year to be released on mobile platforms. But what IPs, what games that come to mind, Nintendo games, stick out to you as something that would work on an iPhone? Or even an iPad, I guess. Right?
Well, there are a lot of touch games on the 3DS that will inherently, if they were ported, they would work.
Okay, but like not ports. Let's say we're opening our mind outside the box here. New games, existing IP. For instance, I think something like Advance Wars would work really well on the iPad, for instance. That's something that hasn't been explored in a long time. Those games have been out since like the Game Boy Advance. So that's something you don't even.
Yeah, well,
touch is perfect for that.
Any top-down RPG too, like look at Clash of Clans. Like you take that formula and you replace it with I don't know, like
Fire Emblem.
Yeah, Fire Emblem or any Animal Crossing game. You know what I mean? Like,
I would play the shit out of an Animal Crossing game on my iPhone. I'm telling you, I would. Man, like, it's just one of those things, like, it just works so perfectly for an iPhone game. Like, you wake up in the morning, it's like, it's real time, right? So when you would, kind of like the Animal Crossing games is like, the time in your real life is the time that's in your little town, right? So you wake up in the morning and you whatever, do a little mini game that, like, picks the weeds out of your town, right? Yeah. And then you, like, throughout the day, like, you just check in with, like, different villagers, and you're trading your little turnips or whatever on the turnip market.
Yeah, no, and that's what
You're saying it like you're really excited.
I am. That's not,
I know, I get it, but
so
People
Julie,
would
are you
love that
saying you're
stuff.
going to main the villager and Smash if you once you play it?
I'm what? Sorry, no, I'm not gonna play as the villager. No,
it's actually pretty nuts. Some people are pretty crazy.
Finally, you realize. He thought he sucked so much.
At first, when I played my first,
you're like, what is he doing? He's dropping a plant.
It is pretty stupid.
But then you see someone who's like just awesome at him, and he just owns.
But that applies to any character.
yeah, I mean,
I think especially that one because it's so like, oh, he's watering a tree. Oh, he's chopping. Oh, boom, he's dead. You're like, oh, he's setting off some fireworks. Boom, you're dead. Like,
yeah, it's just the most innocent
but
activity.
yeah, anyways, like strategy games like that where you can build up armies or bases and then come back to it. That's what like most people or adults you can say like play these days,
Clash
right?
of Clans and Boom Beach and whatever.
Yeah,
so like
playing those games, I'm like, because I don't play those games and like I
don't
consider
either.
myself
But
a big gamer. And I'm like,
I don't either, but like I would play those if it had characters I liked.
I have Clash of Clans.
I think most people do, but really though, we don't really play mobile games except for the trivia games, the game of the year, like not game of the year, it's like the 50-minute of fame game, like draw something or whatever.
Yeah, we played that for a while.
Yeah, or Flappy Bird, and right now is Trivia Crack, right? You know what I mean? Like those are all going to go away. You know what I mean? Like they last, so long, and then they go away. So for me, I think it's just cool seeing characters I like and I've grown up with.
But are you, like you said, like all these big games right now, like the ones that go away, they're like, 5 minutes of fame and they're done.
Yeah.
Do you worry about Nintendo releasing a game that's popular for, a month and then all of a sudden it's gone? Like, is that something Nintendo even wants to do? You know what I mean?
It's weird because when you say that, it's like that's basically what they do on their systems. You know what I mean? Like
true.
It's a Mario Kart every generation. You know what I mean? So, but how do they implement that to the smartphone? You know what I mean? For those 5-minute little plays you have and whatnot, right? I don't know. I don't know what game. Like, if I had to choose one game, I don't know what I'd want. I just know I like Metroid. I like Star Fox. I like Mario.
You can easily see like a rail-guided Metroid shooter.
No. No shooters.
I like the world of Metroid. So, again, like I always say, top-down like RPG or something, or like Advance Wars, like that'd be cool. So I don't know. Like,
well, I mean, here's the thing: I don't want to see. I don't want to see a Mario Kart game where I'm holding up my iPad and I'm turning it like it's a wheel. Yeah. I don't want that kind of. I don't want that.
You don't want a Kirby Flappy Bird where you're tapping Kirby. And
no, I don't. I don't want that at all. If I ever see that on a phone, I'm gonna rip it out of someone's hand and throw it in the water. But like, that's what I worry about.
Those. I think they're too smart for that. You know what I mean? Like
you say that.
They don't want to go, cheap out and dilute their brands.
Which is kind of a weird thing to say because they have like Mario Tennis, Mario Kart, Mario Golf, Mario Baseball.
Well, that's good though.
Like, it's what they've always done.
It's like they have one foot in the door, you know what I mean? Because they've said that they don't ever want to go into mobile, and they want to sell their games on their systems. Now they're saying they're going into mobile, but we're going to keep our our famous mascots and whatnot
you can make it
to our system, so they sell there. But we'll do cool little IPs here and there and mix it up on.
You can make a pretty mean Mario Golf for the iPhone. I'm gonna put that out right now because you don't need a lot of.
They're not going to do Mario Golf. It's on the 3DS. Yeah. They won't do it.
I'm just saying that these are here. How about this? And this it would be technically considered maybe a port, but you could easily do a Dr. Mario, right, for the iPhone.
Oh yeah.
That's not.
There is no Dr. Mario on the 3DS, so that's probably going to happen. I could see that one.
Yeah, or Dr. Luigi or whatever. You could just skin it however you want, but.
That's on the Wii U.
And like you could have like a Wario style, and this is the problem because they're
WarioWare.
No, you have WarioWare is perfect for a mobile game because it's like quick in and out, little quick mini games and you're done. But I'm thinking like you can do like even like a war. You know how he is always about collecting gold in like his stupid Wario Land games. You could you could do like a bejeweled Mario game, If you
want, really, like at the end of the day, like I feel like we don't play mobile games, like us
No,
three
we don't.
in general. So what they're going to do, is it going to make us play? Maybe for a little bit, but probably not, I feel. The one
It
thing I'm
depends.
happy about this is that they're going to make money.
Yeah, exactly. And they can, push that into their
yeah,
systems.
And Nintendo will prevail and
Yeah.
keep going. That's
And that's really what we want, right?
I care about.
We want to see Nintendo not go away. We don't want to see Nintendo go away because we love
Yeah,
their
we all
games.
have our issues with them, but it's never going to change. We always want them to come back to us, like so.
Yeah, so Nintendo in the announcement said, hey, we're doing this because we want to bring people to our consoles. So to prove that point, they said that, hey, listen, we're announcing right now, we're making our next console. It's codenamed the NX, the Nintendo NX. It will be a dedicated game system. It's going to be, quote, a brand new concept. And that's about all we know. They didn't talk about much about it. But so we know it's in development. My question to you guys is, how soon do we see more about like the NX, quote unquote, and what do we think that actually is, and how does it spell the death of the Wii U?
I would say for sure the death of the Wii U. Nobody really cares about that anyways.
There's
right?
not enough info, though. You know what I mean? Like, they're not saying this is the successor to the Wii U and the Wii U will be over. And from what I've gathered, like, I don't know, like, just looking at it, all I see is dedicated game system NX. That's all I see, right?
New concept.
What's that?
New concept. That's the other big one.
Yeah, that's the concept. It doesn't say, like, this is the next generation
What do you
Nintendo
mean,
console.
new concept?
They're not really saying that, right? And so what I've gathered on the internet, what people are saying, is that it is a dedicated game system that could incorporate everything that they were talking about: smartphones, tablets, 3DS, Wii U. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily the PS4 we wanted for Nintendo or the Xbox One. That's what I think it is. I think it's a hardcore name, that NX.
Yeah.
And then some people are saying
Jeremy. Yeah,
What?
NX probably does mean crossover, but like Nintendo crossover. But
yeah.
I mean, we can talk about how great the Nintendo codenames have been for the last like 10 years, and how those have turned into the actual name. I mean, the Dolphin aside, which turned into GameCube. Neither of those are good names. But the Revolution for the Wii was great. I mean, the DS ended up just being called the DS, so that one worked out.
The Revolution was cool because I think that sold a lot of people. Like that
Yeah,
was
it was much cooler than the Wii.
yeah. NX is definitely a code name, but to me, it resembles that N64 like get in or get out motto. Like it just looks like
Wait, was that like their slogan when the N64 came out?
Yeah, it was like in your face, like get in or get out. Like that was
like either you're a Nintendo fan or get the hell out of here.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. That was the American advertising.
Wow.
But, like, I look at the NX and I'm like Nintendo X. That's what I'm saying. Like that's awesome. And when it says dedicated game system, I'm trying to picture is third party support coming back? Are we gonna get NHL and Madden and all those EA games on here? Like, is that what this is? Are they gonna ramp up the power? But like, why announce that when you're talking about this merger with DNA and these why now? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Because it makes sense because they don't want to send a message to people that they're abandoning their systems and they're just going to be after the money in the mobile market. So they're proving, we're still about you guys.
That's why the crossover theory makes more sense to me.
I mean,
what does that crossover do? How does it incorporate your Wii U and your 3DS? Like, what is it? Is it you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. And I think, Jeremy, when you get excited about this PS4 version of a Nintendo console, I think you're getting your hopes up for setting yourself up for disappointment because
not necessarily because this whole ecosystem, like I'm looking at the graphic where they have the PC, the smartphone, the tablet, 3DS, Wii U. It looks like a joint ecosystem, which is what the PSN is.
Yeah, but that's what they're talking about with their new membership service. That's what they want for their...
Yeah, no, but this is a step forward into that system that could be incorporated into the NX crossover.
Sure.
That has everything attached to it, one ID, multiple games you can buy, for multiple systems, one payment. That's my vision. That's what I want. That's
I know that's what you want, and I hate to throw cold water on your idea here, but the whole a brand new concept to me means that that's absolutely not what it's going to be, because if you're doing a quote-unquote brand new concept, the PS4 and Xbox One aren't new. That's not a brand new concept. that's
I
an
don't think
iteration.
it's- I
Is
don't
it
think
brand
they're
new to
gonna-
a Nintendo or brand new in general?
Well, even brand new to Nintendo. Nintendo's done the arms race before. GameCube was that. They was more powerful
and
than PS2.
It didn't do as well as they thought.
Exactly.
But I'm saying they're gonna do what the PSN and the Xbox Live do, but in
Well,
a
you
better
have
way.
to.
Where it incorporates smartphones, 3DS, and Wii U
Mm-hmm.
all in one. You know what I mean? Where PlayStation is basically doing that with Vita and PS4 and PS3. You know what I mean?
Well, and they've talked about. Remember back when the 3D or the DS came out, and they talked about having three pillars, which was the Game Boy Advance, the Wii, and the 3DS. I think it was the Wii. And really, that wasn't really true. They kind of let the Game Boy Advance died with the DS, and it was let away.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they try to spin it as this new console is not it's not replacing your Wii U, it's in conjunction with, just to try to help it along, kind of let the Wii U limp along for a couple more years. I think that's a mistake. I think if you admit that the Wii U was a mistake, and they're not going to admit that it was a mistake, but if you kind of just move, cut the cord and move on to the next, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
No
But the
Nintendo
thing
fans
is,
will buy it.
It's too soon to do that. They're not doing that.
It would be the shortest Nintendo
They
console.
planted a seed, and but by the time this does come out, or the NX, if it is the next system, it won't be for another 2 or 3 years.
So do you
And by
think
that time, what?
you think we'll get announced? We'll get more details about this at E3.
Maybe, but it just seems like they threw it in there. Like it just, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, I think they threw it in there for that. Like I said, for that reason that we talked about.
or for the
because they wanted-
shareholders.
for the fans, the shareholders. That was the mobile announcement. That's what got them excited.
You can't just be like, "There's a new system coming," and then no one buys a Wii U now. Like, it doesn't make any
Exactly.
sense.
So, but no, they threw that in because they didn't want their diehard fans thinking that they were being abandoned. Which, I mean, to be fair, as a diehard Nintendo fan, I felt like I've been abandoned for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, no, I
You know.
I see what you mean, but lately they've been selling more Wii U's. You know what I mean? And I see stories on Reddit and whatnot that people are like, "What is this NX? I just bought a Wii U." You know what I mean? Like the games that I want finally just started coming out.
I mean, if you got
Zelda's on the horizon. I don't
Yeah.
think they're saying this is the next game console. Like,
it's not the next game console. It's dedicated games console. That's what they said.
I mean, it's not the next game console that's coming out like soon. Is what I'm saying.
I mean, yes, it's doing better. But better than doing miserable is not, a really big leap. The Wii U still is in trouble. Yes,
But
if you bought a Wii U now,
my original point is that by the time the NX comes out, the Wii U will have been out for 5 or 6 years,
and then it'll be time for new.
which is the same lifespan as the Wii or the PS3 or whatever, right? So it's just funny that people say it's dead now when the games like Zelda are coming out. You know what I mean? Like that's the one everyone's looking forward to right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you bought a Wii U now, you've got a pretty good library of just Nintendo games. I mean, you got a Smash Brothers, you got Mario Kart, you got 3D World, you have I'm missing something, but like those 3 games alone are should be enough to sell a console. Really, I mean, and if it wasn't so goddamn expensive here, I probably would have bought one already. But
So it is available there.
well, I mean, I can probably, if I wanted, I could find it somewhere, but I'd be paying a very high premium on a console that doesn't deserve it. So
Okay, so just to conclude what you think they just had this whole meeting to announce their new membership service
and the
their
iPhones.
their joint thing with DNA,
Yeah.
and then they just threw in a little bubble down there saying that there's a new dedicated game system coming out.
Yes, but for a reason, to hold on to their hardcore fans that don't want to feel like they're being left behind. That's why.
Oh, I don't agree with that. How many hardcore fans are there, and who's paying attention, and who's going to see that little bubble and be like,
someone's
okay,
paying
I'm going to
attention.
put away $500 for Nintendo? No,
So-
they're buying Bloodborne today. They're, you know what I mean, like they're,
So okay, then who's
it's not
that?
a game changer.
Who's that announcement for then? So obviously the mobile game announcements for the shareholders. The stock price showed that by going up 40%.
I think all of it is because they're showing the shareholders that we have plans, things are changing. Oh, and by the way, we have a dedicated game system coming out,
Which is
that's
also
going to
incorporate
encompass everything. Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's going to incorporate our previous systems, the Wii U and
But
Nintendo.
you're
Yeah.
just speculating now. They
obviously.
never said any of that.
That's what you're doing too, though. You're saying it's for the hardcore audience. I don't think it's at all for the hardcore audience.
Well, you're the one who's saying that next game console is going to be the PS4 or the Nintendo consoles, and I would
No, just
You're
their
worried
their-
if you were worried if you were going to hope for that.
just with their whole like partnership with smartphones, which everyone has, and the new membership service that encompasses all devices. It's a big program like PSN or Xbox Live, and this dedicated game system is going to incorporate it
Well,
fully.
you'd hope you'd have to be,
That's why it's thrown in there, because they're telling this thing is going to work very well, and it's going to be the powerhouse behind the NX.
All right, fair enough. Anything else you guys want to mention about this announcement? This was pretty big news. Is there anything that we haven't really covered?
I don't know. We've been talking about it on the podcast for a long time.
Yeah.
We've suggested it, and everybody else has too. So it's just good to see it finally happening.
Well, Dan, what's your idea? What I haven't offered anything really new. Jeremy's kind of suggested that it's going to be more of a next of what we think of as a next gen console. What do you think that the next Nintendo console looks like? What does
I think
it
it
look
kind
like
of
to
has
you?
to, right? But like you said, they've done the arms race before and lost. But if they have, like we said, they were going to make a ton of money off this mobile stuff. If they can put that kind of money into making a system that can actually compete, they could take over.
Yeah. No, so here's the thing. I think in the best possible solution for all this is that Nintendo has a console that can be a new concept like the Wii was, right? But still have the power and ability to be a console that can support a third-party ecosystem, right? So instead of just picking one or the other, either we're going to do a new concept that's going to change gaming forever, and it probably won't, or we're going to go all in with the modern gaming consoles and try to keep up with them, which that also probably wouldn't work for Nintendo. So there's got to be a compromise in the middle where they have the physical hardware that's capable of keeping up with those next-gen consoles while also being still a very Nintendo different idea concept that allows them to do their own thing while also allowing room for the third parties.
Do you actually see this air quotes new concept being something that's revolutionary? Like the only thing that is in the mind share and that is the future is VR. Like that's just like what can you do beyond that?
Well, is it then VR?
Things they've already implemented with the Wii motion controls have been done before. They've been in arcades for years. The dual screens, they did that with the 3DS already. They just implemented it into the Wii U. What new concept is there to be?
Everyone else is doing VR. Why shouldn't Nintendo get involved in that?
Well. And also, if there is going to be a new concept, that you would expect it to come from Nintendo.
I don't, but like,
the envelope like that.
Obviously, it's like I can't predict this new concept, and when it does come out, oh yeah, I could have thought of that. But like right now, I can't think of what it is because VR is the next concept. That's
where everything's headed.
It's not a concept anymore; it's reality. That's what everyone.
I mean, I haven't been more excited for a new technology more than VR. Like the idea, like every time I hear anyone on any of the gaming press that I follow, when they go to a press event or a big,
it blows their minds when they try it,
and they're like, and some of them don't like it as much. Some things don't work as well. Obviously, not everything works for VR, right? You can't do everything, but like the stuff that makes sense, like first-person shooters, that Eve Valkyrie game where you're a starship fighter pilot, right? And like all of these things make perfect sense to me as in VR. And I can't wait because I feel like virtual reality is the future. That is the future of video gaming. We're only delaying it by having like these dedicated. It's coming and it's going to be amazing. But in the meantime, Nintendo's going to want to do their own thing until they're forced into doing what everyone else is doing, and that's good. They're going to be forced to because if VR is as great as everyone wants it to be or thinks it's going to be, then that's what people are going to want, and Nintendo's going to have to give people what they want. Otherwise, they're going to go out of business. So,
and then Microsoft is doing the HoloLens, which is
sort of
not
like
necessarily just gaming stuff. It's like it's everyday useful stuff.
Which to me, that's even cooler.
It's crazy.
I know.
You can like program the layout of your house, right? It's in the HoloLens that you wear, and you can program. I want a photo on that wall, a mirror over here, whatever. So when you walk out of the room, there's like in the virtual space of like the memory of the system, it's there. So when you turn around and you're moving around, it stays plastered in your house.
It's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like you could have a couch. Like obviously you can't sit on the couch.
Yeah.
But you could have a couch that just sits in the corner of your room.
That would be not any good to you because it'd just be virtual.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying you decorate your room with all this shit.
Well,
The
yeah, 'cause
idea
that's
is-
stuff like that.
The idea would
It's just cool that that can happen.
the practical use of HoloLens is be able to like pull up 3 screens in front of you, right? And like
Yeah,
Minority Report style, throw stuff around, and that's the practical use out of it.
Yeah,
But, like,
yeah.
There's also definitely gaming. I mean, the HoloLens idea isn't pure gaming, which is why it's cool. But
Originally it was though, but the some VP or something at Microsoft said, "Hold on a sec, like
Well, yeah, it's got legs.
let's not just tie this down to the Xbox. Let's make this something bigger."
Here's a question while we're talking VR. Are you guys gonna buy Morpheus? I mean, there's aiming for next year, 2016.
I will. Like, I can't see myself not picking that thing up. Like,
I'm sure I will. Yeah, I'm sure all the hype will just.
I'm gonna get the table out of here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stand it. Yeah, like, pretty-
I can't remember which podcast I was listening to where they were describing like a VR experience that they had. I think it was I think it must have been what's the one that Facebook owns, Oculus? Where they had an Oculus thing where like it starts where they sit you in a chair, right? And he puts on the VR thing, and then he's also in the VR environment. He's also sitting in a chair, and you look up, and there's this like guy. You're kind of like in a black room, and a light just hanging over you, and a guy's kind of like interrogating you or whatever. And then they talk about how like the guy tells him to stand up, and then he stands up, and then everything just like he goes up with it, obviously, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah. That's what makes you realize
and he
you're
physically
in the world.
stands up out of the chair in real life, right?
And then I've heard stories where someone's being chased or whatever, and like the guy's about to swing an axe at them, and the person in real life with the headset on turns their head away because they're too scared. When they turn their head away, they see more of the video game world,
Yeah.
and the guy's still behind you.
Yeah.
That's to me. That's when I realized that you're actually put in the middle of a video game.
That to me is the most terrifying thing because I know
Exactly.
It's going to be.
It's gonna actually, scary
Can you-
games are actually going to be scary.
Can you imagine a survival horror game in VR? That has got like people.
And, like someone stabbing you and you're dead. and
You
it's
gotta
like,
understand that people
Kills-
will,
People will go crazy.
Yeah.
people will have like there'll have to be like warnings. Be like, listen, you may experience a heart attack from this game.
And obviously, you can't really like run around and stuff because there are a lot of nausea complaints with this
No.
right now. And I've also heard that Morpheus is the most comfortable to wear, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's readily available to me when it comes out, and it's like a comfortable headset to wear.
Well, because apparently some of the VR stuff is like wearing like a scuba mask, which is I think
Yeah, it
is really weird.
sucks into your eyes. Where I think someone said that this one's more like a welder's helmet, so you can
Okay.
like Iron Man, I guess you could say too. Like it lifts up and stays on top of your head. Curiosity too is that most of these experiences that people are talking to us about are from the first person, right?
Yeah.
How does it work for a third person game?
See, I don't.
It probably won't.
That's
I
what I
don't-
mean. Where
I
not
think-
everything works for VR like that.
Well, yeah. Well, I think it will work. It won't involve the user to do much. It'll have you wearing the headset and sitting down with the controller, and then Joel or Ellie or something from Last of Us in front of you.
Well, then what's the difference between
And
that
I
and
guess
just
move
looking
your
at
head
your
around, get a
TV?
different view of the
Yeah.
environment or something
Yeah.
like that.
What's that, Julian?
And what's the difference between doing that and just looking at your TV? Then that's just putting your TV in front of your
Because it
eyes.
gives you peripherals, like you're in the environment more. Like it just, you know what I mean. Like you can maybe, like Daniel said, you can maybe use your head movements to peek around corners or whatnot. Like just maybe it's gimmicky, but like
Yeah, more
feel
subtle
like-
stuff.
It'll be like changing camera angles.
yeah,
you know?
you feel like you're in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see the bullet whiz past your head, right? It's like that like the first time you see a 3D movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And things go by your head or whatever, right?
You think of how fast once this takes off, how quickly it'll be taken for granted. You know, like if a game isn't VR, it's like, well, and like why is it even being made? Like that'll be like kind of like I feel like it's once it takes off, it's gonna take off so fast.
I don't know. People said that about like 3D movies, but not every movie needs to be made in 3D.
No, I know, but
that fell off though too.
But I don't think this is like 3D movies because I think this is much more the leap here between a regular game and a VR game is huge, whereas the leap between a 2D movie and a 3D movie isn't really that big. You know,
And 3D is more is just better suited for a video game than
Well, and also with movies, you're very much you're the viewer, you're
Yeah.
the audience.
Well,
With
and-
games, you're the protagonist. You know?
Which is weird.
You're in the game.
and a lot of control that you have.
Yeah.
it's weird that you mentioned that because people have talked about VR movies, and I can't even really wrap my head around it. Really, like I guess the idea would be, you know, how you make like a cutscene in Uncharted, right? So you have all these motion capture actors, right? And they're doing a scene, and then around their bodies is placed, you know, CG like animated bodies, and the sets built around them, right? And you could, when they're making these cutscenes, that they are able to move the camera wherever they want, right?
Yeah.
They can zoom in they don't have to recut anything. It's all done. You can just move the camera, right? So I guess the idea with the VR would be that you could go anywhere in a scene and watch the scene from anywhere. But like,
anywhere you choose.
But why? Again, like, but for a film, it doesn't make so much sense to me because you want someone to concentrate on certain things at a certain time. Having someone be able to just wander around a cafe while the key important conversation's happening at the second booth, and you're sitting in the fourth booth and you can't even see them, doesn't make sense. You know?
Yeah. Directors and cinematographers, like they're there for a reason because they're giving you specific shots.
They're telling you
to tell you a story, right? Whereas games, they are cinematic now, and people are telling you stories, and they can lead you to certain ways. But at the end of the day, you have ultimate control on where you go and what you look at. The VR, you really get a good look at whatever you want.
Well, it's just another level of immersion. That's what video games have always been about.
Oh yeah, it's a huge level.
I mean, there's cool things you could probably do with it with certain scenes. Like, let's say you're in a car chase, right, in a movie, and you're like the main character's in the driver's seat, but your point of view is in the passenger seat, right? So you can look around and you can see what's happening in front and behind you and the side. Like, you can see what the main character's doing, but you're not actually controlling anything. Obviously, you're just witnessing it, and that would still be exhilarating because you're still in the car of this car chase. But
games they do that where you're sitting somewhere and you're viewing things and you can move the stick. But yeah, it definitely lends itself more to video games, and this also is part of the bigger conversation of why games are still attached to movies, because movies have had a longer history of evolution, and games are still trying to kind of find their themselves basically in their own market. And a lot of like along the way right now, they're really trying to replicate movies, right? But is that what they're supposed to be doing, or are they supposed to be going into revolutionary things like VR? Is that going to change everything? Is that
I think VR is the fork in the road where games really separate themselves from movies. You know, where movies will, because like we touched, like I said, VR doesn't really lend itself to movies. VR lends itself to games, and that's where things will split, and you'll have your films and you'll have your games, and what games is very well at that point will very much involve you. You can't. It won't just be anymore just sitting on your couch, although there will still be that, but it'll be more immersive than ever before, and where films will be more the sit back and just take in what's happening.
There's going to be more options to play your games and to experience your games. And they might not even be called games; it could just be called experiences, like people have been trying to call games. Yeah. And this also could be the Citizen Kane moment for video games, VR, where
Citizen Kane moment.
Well, Citizen Kane, with his camera work, cemented what films were and what they can do, right? And what they're meant to be. VR could be that for video games.
I hope so. I mean, I'm gonna leave it there. I think, but we can all hope that that's what VR is gonna be. I mean, it's not going to fall on its face like it did in the 80s. I'll tell you that.
No. Technology is way too advanced right now. It's working. So
I just want to mention a couple more stories relating to video games. So YouTube is making a big play at Twitch-like game streaming. So Twitch is huge in gaming. Everyone wants to live stream their games, and it's super popular. You know, some people might not understand it, but the fact is it's huge. We use for the stream that we're on right now. Is YouTube Live, and YouTube is gonna be using that same service, but they're gonna be like building on it, bolstering it, and will be leveraging the massive hit that is Twitch-like streaming to create their own game streaming service using YouTube Live, which would actually be good for us because we already use YouTube Live. I don't know. To me, it only makes sense. I mean, like we said. I mean, the Citizen Kane movement of gaming wasn't Wii Plays. It is popular, but that's, it's not the next big thing. It's just it's tangential to what gaming is. You know what I mean?
I think the literal, like, just a side note, the literal translation of Citizen Kane in games, I think, was Super Mario 64, because of the actual camera in the 3D environment
Well,
working.
no, because we're from going from a 3D environment or going from 2D gaming in the NES games, and we're backtracking a bit, Super NES,
No, like
and then going to 3D.
No, 2D to 3D, that's a leap.
Yeah.
It's just Super Mario 64 utilized the camera and the 3D environment properly for you to traverse the land.
Sure, I get that, but
That's
the leap
my
from
literal
3D
translation
to
of the
VR is another leap. It's not even the same, because you're not going to be doing the same things with your camera that you were doing with
No, I know.
Mario.
I just said the first literal translation of the Citizen Kane moment
Okay.
is Super Mario 64
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the world.
So the second Citizen Kane moment.
No, I'm saying that's the literal with
Yeah.
camera.
Or maybe the Avatar moment of video gaming.
Oh, don't say that.
Yeah.
Don't say that to me.
Why, you don't like Avatar, Dan?
No,
Don't.
No, that actually makes sense. It could be that, but if it is, then it's not all it's what's set up to be.
Yeah.
That's true.
But anyway, stuff of VR. Back to Twitch. I just want to say one thing. People who don't get Twitch are the people who don't like watching people play video games.
Yeah.
Like you, Julian, you guys, like you want the controller, right? For me, I personally enjoy it. Like, say if we're in here playing Uncharted, I wouldn't mind if I don't have the controller. As long as I'm here experiencing the story and you are, and my friends are, I enjoy that a lot. That's why I go to Twitch.
I've spent so many years watching Daniel play fucking games.
No, I know. You have that. And you want the controller. You want to be in control. But what Twitch is teaching everybody is that you don't need to be in control.
Yeah.
You can experience these games with your friends and other viewers. Anyways, you don't need to hold the
So,
controller.
like, would you ever watch like a Twitch stream or a Let's Play of somebody like going through hour by hour of like Resident Evil or something and just watching?
Yeah, I already have.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely.
I don't.
They play the game differently than I do.
Yeah.
But then it's
Some
not for
better.
you.
New things I didn't know, like strategies they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's cool to me. I want to see those new ways of playing the game. And plus, if I want to play Resident Evil 2, like, I got to dedicate time to play that. It's going to take me, I can probably beat Resident Evil 2 in 2 hours. I can watch, which is quick, but like, I can watch this guy blast through it like nothing. And I can experience the game again. It's like, I don't need to hold the controller. There's no need to always do that, right? And that's why I think Twitch is so successful, is because people are realizing that now. You don't need to hold the controller.
So
For certain games.
I don't know.
you
Like, for
think-
like story-driven games, I feel like I would. I would have to.
I'm not gonna go on Twitch and watch someone play Uncharted 4. I want to control that for sure. But a lot of on Twitch right now, a lot of old games, a lot of strategy games.
I've been watching a decent amount of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat 2, you can see people what they're doing with combos.
Yeah, the competitive gaming that makes
So yeah,
sense.
Twitch is a beautiful thing, and it's only gonna get bigger. Like, it's awesome.
like you said, it's only going to get bigger, and with YouTube putting their, their what's the saying? There's something in the ring, throwing their hat in the ring.
Yeah.
With YouTube throwing their hat in the ring, it's only going to get bigger because YouTube is the biggest video service online, right? And
YouTube is Google, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, in the world.
Well, they really do, which is awful.
if only Google bought Oculus Rift, but
Yeah.
Facebook bought it.
Facebook's got a ton of money too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you have to worry too much about Facebook ruining Oculus Rift. I think what really is going to happen, they're going to have their Facebook's having their big announcement. They do like a press conference every year, and they're doing one for Facebook and one separately just for Oculus Rift. I think you don't have to worry about Oculus Rift being ruined because I think they understand, at least Zuckerberg I think understands how important VR is, and like I think they want to apply it very much like Microsoft is towards a more like functional use as well as a gaming use. You know what I mean? They want to kind of do they want a HoloLens the Oculus Rift. Anyway, let me just do a couple more gaming news here. So, in unrelated Nintendo news, not related to what we were talking about earlier, Satoru Iwata has confirmed that something that most Nintendo fans have kind of known in their hearts for years, and that the fighters in Super Smash Bros. Are just toys and not actual characters. My favorite part of this is the quote here, a quote, "That has to do with a very serious debate that we had within the company back then," he said, when Iwata, when the idea of having Nintendo characters battle one another was discussed internally. The team wondered, quote, "Is it okay for Mario to be hitting Pikachu?" The idea that it was a very serious debate.
Thing, though, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's completely cultural. Like, the advertisement campaign for Smash Bros. 1 was all those characters in these giant, like, beanbag suits or whatever, dancing and actually punching each other, right? and actually fighting. And and then in the game itself, the opening credit sequence, they're actually they are toys.
Yeah, they're
the glove picks them out of the
toy box. Yeah.
And then when it leaves, like Toy Store or whatever, they battle each other, right? So again, that's a cultural thing. That's what they want to believe. They don't want to believe that Mario is going to fight, Rosalina or whatever, right? So
the same time, though, I mean, it really doesn't make any difference on the game itself.
Oh,
And actually, it does kind of lend itself to the whole like fun nature of Super Smash Brothers. That the idea that these aren't the actual characters fighting each other, it's just in your imagination. This is how the characters.
And I didn't think about it like Mario fighting Peach. Like it's the craziest thing. And like we get to play that game, and we play that game many
He just
times.
smacks her fucking boyfriend in the face with a frying pan, like. Bing!
Like, it's so cool that exists.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's become huge.
I love that it was though a serious debate within the company when they were releasing the first one. Like, can you imagine like a very high level executive at Nintendo like just sitting in his deck like being very concerned that Mario would be fighting Peach? He's like this just isn't right.
And lo and behold, there's a giant, competitive scene for Smash. It's huge. I follow pretty closely. I follow all the fighters or the players, whatever, on Twitter. All their Twitch streams. Every now and then, I'll pop in and see what they're doing. And tournaments like Evo and all that stuff are just Smash is like taking it over now. It's crazy.
So let me just keep you on that.
Since Smash 4 came out, plus that documentary, which reinvigorated the scene.
So let me keep you on that same competitive thing for a second. We'll talk about MKX. Mortal Kombat X is delayed on the Xbox 360 and PS3. It'll be available sometime in the summer. That's not a big deal. What is a big deal though is that brutalities are back, and that Dan, this will make you happy. They will be punishing rage quitters with quote unquote quitalities, which is the funniest thing. Which is pure Mortal Kombat quitalities, which makes your character's head explode and the other player's a winner, obviously.
And they have to watch it.
Yeah,
that's the best part. They get to quit. That's fine, but
no, unless you turn your system off.
If you turn it off completely, then.
Or you just press the X button or whatever and just quit the game.
No, that's what happens when you go. Like, you press start to quit or whatever. Then your character's head explodes. The other character says some sort of weird taunt, and then you get out.
If I hold down the PS button, it brings up.
I see.
What do you want to do?
Yeah. Okay. Well, then if you really want to quit that bad.
No. It'll turn the game off, but for you on the other side of it, you'll still see the animation.
Yeah, exactly.
So whatever.
It's fine. It's a great idea because that is an actual problem I run into fairly often.
And I'm sure you've rage quit too.
I never have. I promise you, I never have.
I promise you that's not true.
I promise you, I've wanted to, and I've been pissed off.
You probably gave up, tried to let the controller there.
I've always made it to the end of the match for sure.
I know, but I'm saying if you give up or you just don't even play anymore, it still counts as rage quit.
I've never just let the controller sit there. That's ridiculous.
That's the same as quitting.
I might as well have because I can't land a hit. But
I mean that's not technically a rage quit, but like you get the same feeling like that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
When someone actually rage quits though,
times.
Okay, yeah.
When someone actually rage quits though, it is like it's infuriating. It's infuriating.
I get 1 versus 1, but like if I'm in Battlefield and like. Or something like I'm just getting sniped every time I load or whatever. Like fuck it, I'm just gonna quit.
Yeah, that's
reload
different.
A new game. Like,
but the thing is, because in Battlefield that person can still play it. Whereas if I'm playing somebody in Mortal Kombat and they quit, it's just
that's it. Your match is over. Yeah, like.
And most games, I think even Smash, I think if you're playing somebody, you'll notice lag, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that lag will disappear, and that fighter will play differently.
Yeah.
That fighter's taken over by
computer.
CPU. It doesn't tell you that though.
Really?
Yeah. Then you'll beat the CPU because it's like at level 3 or something. I've had it a couple times, and then you'll just win.
Because in Smash, the new Smash, when somebody quits, they're punished, right? They're not allowed to play online for like 10 or 15 minutes or something like that.
Probably.
Really?
Most of the time, you got to sever connection from the lag, right?
Yeah.
So have you ever had a laggy match where it's like super laggy, then it all of a sudden stopped?
Yeah.
And then have you noticed that player's fighting style has been different?
I was just kind of attribute that to the lag, like they play differently when they're trying to land.
Okay, well, I looked it up, and that's apparently what happens.
Well,
That's an interesting way of doing it.
Player, he wouldn't do anything. One
I've never had that happen.
Like one swipe, and like before the lag, it was like the craziest match of my life. Like I'm like, so. And then probably on his end, same thing for me. It's probably lag. Then I'm not me anymore. And then he gets the win, and I get the win. Right? Probably give it to both of us.
Weird.
Yeah.
So Hideo Kojima, you guys know Hideo Kojima. He's the creator of Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear. Never mind. No, just Metal Gear Solid. And he's leaving Konami. He's going to be leaving Konami after Metal Gear Solid 5. There was kind of like... Sorry?
The Phantom Pain.
Yes, the Phantom Pain.
What a great name. In the legacy of great names. So,
It makes you think. It makes you just think of like a phantom limb. Like when people have like lose a leg.
Well, that's the thing, though. This is an even cooler name because it's Big Boss and Solid Snake, which are clones. So they're connected, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what that meaning might be.
See, there's no way you can figure out what Hideo Kojima's thinking. He's too crazy for you to ever figure it out.
He's an individual for sure.
And he's been on the series since the very first game, and there's kind of a controversy over whether like he was quitting before the game was over or blah blah blah. I don't know what's actually happening behind the scenes.
He has said it's his last game.
But now, they released, Konami and him released a joint statement saying, he's going to be working on MGS 5 until its completion, and then he'll be leaving to do his own things. Konami has then said that they're already hiring for the next Metal Gear game, which I guess will be the first game not under Kojima's supervision. It won't be under his watch. It'll be interesting to see which way the series goes. Because, personally, it's a little bit too crazy for me. If it got a little bit more grounded, I'd be totally okay with that. But this last one's going to be, it's going to be nuts. It's the end of his vision for Metal Gear. So.
And this announcement makes me want to buy it even more. Like, I'm already going to get it. Like, I'm pretty excited to experience that story. But yeah, this announcement of him leaving is pretty...
It's crazy.
It's pretty crazy, but, like, it just makes sense. Because he has said, personally, it is his last game. He has said that. That obviously got him in deep water with Konami. Why would they want to end Metal Gear Solid? It's like ending I don't know.
That'd be like ending the Marvel movies.
It's just ending something that just should always exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But not necessarily in Metal Gear Solid 6, 7, 8, 9, right? Just maybe side stories and whatnot, because it is a huge world he created.
Yeah.
But yeah, they said no. We want to keep going, and he's like, I'm not doing Metal Gear Solid 7. Six story. He's not going to keep going with that. So might as well end it now, right? So
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I've liked the games, the Metal Gear games I've played. I've never loved them. If they've never been it's never been my favorite series by any means. But
when I played 4, it was for sure. But that was my first next gen experience.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fair. But I'll definitely admit that Hideo Kojima has played a huge role in what stealth games mean, which third person action games mean.
And cinematic games. The first one you haven't played yet, but it's on the PS1 is extremely cinematic.
Which is
he's being interviewed with these flashbacks, and there's this voiceover while he's swimming to get into Shadow Moses. It's pretty cool for its time.
Yeah, I'll never know until I get to play Twin Snakes.
Yeah,
but
it's one of those games that a collection would be awesome for me.
Well, and they on the PS3 they had a Metal Gear Solid HD collection, which had not number 1, but it had 2, 3. What else did it have, Julian? The PSP games.
The PSP games, yeah.
Yeah, which
and it had the remastered version of 3, right? Because they had for a long time.
Yeah, 2 and 3 were both remastered.
Yeah. Because 3 didn't for a long time had the static cameras. And then they later added on. It was called Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence, and they added on the movable camera that we're used to now.
Yeah, all the bonus features were added on. Then they released another collection called I think it was a Solid Snake collection, with all that plus some other stuff. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I have 2 Metal Gear Solid collections for PS3. I know that, and that is my second favorite collection, as opposed to the Mass Effect one, because the packaging is very nice.
That's fair. And then finally, the last game story. This one's kind of out there, but I thought it's appropriate for us. Jackbox Games, they're the developer of the hilarious party game You Don't Know Jack, is releasing a new game. It's called Quiplash, like quips, It's going to be for pretty much all the consoles: PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, probably for your computer, other stuff too. It's going to be up to 8 players, and it's going to compete. You're going to compete with other players. Answering open-ended questions like, quote, something you'd be surprised to see a donkey do. And the winner is picked by group vote. Anyway, the cool part is that only one person needs to own the game, and then other people connect to the game with their smartphones or their iPads or whatever. Yeah. It feels a lot like a lot of other board games we've played, but it'll have You Don't Know Jack's style of humor, I imagine. And they're pretty good with that kind of stuff. So
We play one that's like that already, Joe. You don't have it here, but it's a party pack. It has You Don't Know Jack, then it has Fibbage and a couple other games, and it's awesome to have people just come over and not even need a controller, just use your phone.
yeah.
It's the best way to play a party game.
Mm-hmm. And that
Except for your battery dies. And then...
Yeah, and you have to be connected to the Wi-Fi to have this.
yeah, but it's the same. Look at that; those are small things. The idea that you don't need 8 controllers to play a game like You Don't Know Jack, because you really don't. You're just picking an answer. Like it doesn't really matter, Yeah. And how funny is You Don't Know Jack? Like that game is.
It's hilarious.
It's even on your phone is hilarious. And I forget to play it more.
It gets old if you replay the same episode and you hear sort of jokes, even though there's a couple different variations.
Still though, I mean, the idea is you're not replaying the same episodes over and over again. You're playing new episodes.
And also, they're not priced like regular games. They're cheaper, and then you can buy like booster packs and stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, so this game is gonna be crowdfunded. They're gonna kind of do like a Kickstarter kind of thing for it. It's probably already funded by now. And they had the idea for this game like a year ago, but they didn't have the money for it. So either way, I'm excited for that. Everything that Jackbox has done has been pretty good. So we can move on into some movie talk. Dan and you watched the Avengers TV spot, the latest one.
Yeah.
It's got the most new content, like new footage we've seen since any of the new, even the last Avengers like full trailer almost. A lot more lighthearted than the other ones for sure. And it shows off a lot of that Whedon-esque humor that I love so much. At this point, I don't think it really matters, what we think about the trailers. At the point is the movie's going to be out right away, and we're going to be there, and it's going to be so good. What if it's bad?
It's not. There's no way it's going to be bad. The trailer, there's a lot of action, so it's cool. I don't like when they reveal too much of the story within the trailers, and they've kind of done a bit of that, but not too much.
Yeah.
So, I don't need any more of the story until
there's definitely cool moments that we see.
Also, a lot of these the late trailers that right up to the release, there's a lot of footage of them battling in the middle of like a city, and like there's just rubble everywhere. Like I just feel like it's gonna get old at some point by the next movie.
I mean, that's kind of what the Avengers do, though.
No, I know. The setting is like.
Well,
it does look. Well, it's probably New York again.
Yeah.
Well, good thing that they're going into space for the next 2 Avengers movies.
Yeah, exactly.
There's definitely cool moments like Cap's shield with the magnets on his arm. Like that's really cool, right? But he doesn't have to catch it anymore.
He throws the shield
And
and
he
it
always catches
comes
it
back. So
yeah, I know, but like
I think that's my favorite sound effect in all of Marvel movies is the shield bounce. So good.
The green claws?
A claw? No, in the MCU.
Okay.
It sounds kind of like when a bell is ringing and you put your hand on it to like turn the sound off.
Oh, it's just
It's
the most
like
little vibration.
And then second to that, I'd say is the Iron Man blasters.
The pulsars, yeah.
Pulsars, and then Thor's hammer. I like that too.
Okay. I like that one too. That's cool.
Well, the thing is, Thor's hammer and the shield, they're very similar, but they are different.
Yeah, no, they're not really that similar at all. One's a shield.
No, like the sound. You
Oh,
idiot.
the sound. Okay, yeah, I get you. It's a bit of Star Wars rumors and news. Disney apparently wants J.J. Abrams back for Episode 9. We know that Rian Johnson, who filmed Looper, Dan wouldn't know, but will be directing Episode 8. Anyway, apparently the Sony execs have seen a lot of this Episode 7 footage and are really, really liking it, and they really want to get him back for the 9th film.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, we haven't seen this first movie yet, but
God,
it's
so much Star
it's
Wars.
such a
Dan, get used
it's
to
such
it.
a
Can you
it's
do me a
such
favor? Just like next podcast, like let's just not talk
Dan,
about Star Wars.
no, Dan, you don't understand.
Dude,
This time it is. Yes, this time
is
for once
relative
it is.
good news. But what I take from this is that it's such a safe choice to go with the guy rebooting your franchise.
But they went with Rian Johnson for Episode 8, so it's not you can say that they're all about safe
that's
choices.
the thing. I like that. It's just weird. Why not just go with him for Episode 2?
Let him do
Don't
it.
you want? But
Do what they did with the original Star Wars, where they had a different director for each one or whatever, right? That's what they did, right?
I guess, but wouldn't you want a central tone, a cohesive tone throughout those last 3 movies?
But we talked about the first 3 movies and how different they are from each other.
That's true.
But how beginning, middle, and end they feel, and that's the cohesiveness of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's just so hard to recreate that in this day and
Yeah.
age.
I mean,
You need that J.J. Abrams to come in there and reboot your shit and like pay attention to your old stuff. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's cool that Ryan Johnson's doing the middle movie because he's got that grittiness that JJ doesn't really have, right? And if
Yeah.
the middle movie is anything like the middle movie in the original prequel, then you're gonna need that grittiness.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dan,
But we're-
to answer your Dan, to answer your question about having no Star Wars news, no, we're gonna have Star Wars news forever until time ends, until until the sun explodes, because there's gonna be a Star Wars movie every year.
Talking about episode 9.
Dan, there's gonna be a Star Wars movie every single year.
What are we talking about?
It's a year away.
No, episode 9 is not a year away. Episode
7.
Yeah, episode 7
Well, that's coming up.
is this year.
Yeah, it's this year.
Oh,
Episode 8 is 2 years away.
half a year away.
Yeah, well, no,
Yeah, that's a long time. But like,
no, it's in December. It's like almost a full year.
Yeah.
Then you
well,
have
like it's
Rogue
this.
One.
Still pretty, that's. You thought it was like in 2016, but it's
Yeah,
you know,
it was a spring movie.
yeah.
Yeah, no. So you have you also have Rogue One out in the next year. Is it Rogue One and Episode 8 are out in the same year? No, right? It's
I don't know.
It's you get one like definitive Star Wars film, then you get a standalone, and then a definitive
Yeah.
one. Until
And then also to the point with different directors and different
Yeah.
tones, we're gonna get that from these spin-off movies type of
Mhm.
thing, right?
I mean, I love the Slash Film guys. David Chen, he made a joke the last podcast I was listening to him, and he was talking about how people were wanting like different genres out of the Marvel movies, and he's like, well, I would argue that there's actually more diversity in genre in the Fast and Furious franchise than there is in the Marvel franchise, which is actually probably true. But either way,
I don't think it is because I think 5, 6, and 7 of Fast and Furious, probably all blur together.
no. Which one's the heist movie? 4 or 5?
They're all heist movies now. 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
yeah. Point is, I can't say whether I want J.J. Abrams back for Episode 9 until I've seen Episode 7. You know.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's really going to depend. Like, they're not going to come to an agreement on this until the movie's out anyway, and there is the reaction to whether it was good or bad of Episode 7, right?
Well, we know that he's just so good at paying homage
Mhm.
and redoing what people want that it's just such a safe choice. And he is just easing everybody in back into Star Wars the way we used to know it. And he's going to take 2 movies to do that. Then we get this other guy to direct it, and then we go on from there. Plus the solo side movies.
And then finally we have this one is so that's more rumor. This one's more actual news. There is going to be 20 books released in between now and when Episode 7 comes out at the end of this year, all in a series known as The Journey to the Force Awakens, which is not the most creative name.
So gay.
And it's going to have, anyways, I'd say 20 different books that are going to take place in the 32 years between Return of the Jedi and A Force Awakens. And that will all be official canon. I would love to keep up with that stuff, but 20 books between now and then seems like a lot. That's that's novels, comic books, young like children's books, and that's just too much. It's a little much, and that's just in 1 year. So what's next year going to be like? Are they going to have 40 books? And those are all official canon. If you want to keep up to date, I mean, I already have enough problem trying to keep up to date with my comic book TV shows. Never mind my eventual Star Wars television show that's going to be around the corner. You know it's coming. They're going to have other than Rebels, they're going to have a live action Star Wars show, right? And that's right. I mean, there was one plan for a long time, and that's obviously fallen through now. But that's going to happen. It's going to be on what's the one that Disney owns? CBS? No, ABC. ABC. It's going to be there's going to be an ABC Star Wars live action television show that's going to be set in canon. There's just too much. There's just no way. How is one person supposed to keep up with all this stuff?
There's definitely a lot, and I didn't know about this whole book thing, but I think my first reaction to that is screw it. I'm not even. Mainly because they fucked over everybody before who studied the shit out of
Yes.
the
Well, they didn't fuck them
old
over.
canon
The
Star
extended
Wars,
universe.
and they fucked them all over.
But there was no promise, though. They wrote their own stories. No one ever in Star Wars said that what you write is going to be canon. No
I
one
know,
ever said
like,
that.
It was the general consensus.
There were things that were generally accepted.
yeah,
as
like
canon.
But generally accepted is not
the-
Lucasfilm
the-
coming to you and saying this is what it's going to be.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That was part of that was legit. Like
Well,
this is what
it's to the
happened.
point that those things that are which are written by other people are a part of the they are referenced in Knights of the
Yeah.
Republic or any new Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
They can talk about that as if it's part of the canon.
Right. It's not like they're like Luke. It's not like some guy's writing a story where Luke fucking flies over here and does this. You know what I mean? Like,
No, there was stories like that.
There were
Yes.
some of those, and those make
I know,
sense
but
for those
like-
to be cut out because they're doing the
yeah,
movies now.
Yeah.
It's the
So-
stuff from extended universe.
That stuff isn't gone. It's now known as Star Wars Legends. All extended universe stuff is now known as Star Wars Legends. It's not gone. Those stories still exist.
Oh, I know it still exists. It's happened once before, and they shrewd of people before who really loved that stuff and paid attention to it and studied it. It's like, what's to say that's not going to happen again? You know what I mean? I'm like,
They're
why-
not, because it's all
why
being
should those
overseen.
people? Why should those people who are their hardcore, dedicated fans buy all this shit now?
Because this is now true canon. That was
So
well,
why
because,
would
and now
they-
it's being it's because
why, why should they support it though when their own creations and efforts to build upon the Star Wars universe that was pretty much forgotten about for so long? Why should they support that now?
because what they created isn't necessarily being tossed out the window either. A lot of that stuff that they invented for the extended universe is being pulled into the real Star Wars universe. And if they really care about that stuff, seeing that their creation is being used by the films is important.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Say again.
Like that just seems so unfair. Like,
I guess, but you got to get over that. It's happened. They must have gotten over it too. The fact is, it's over. The Lucasfilm era. No, the Lucasfilm era is over. The Disney era has begun.
That shit. I just feel for those people because I've read stories and articles about them. It's not over for them. They still love that shit.
No, exactly. And now they have even more content than ever to consume. That's even more relevant than ever.
I don't know. For me, I didn't really dabble into that before, and I'm not going to do it again because it seems so scripted and
Well, it is.
I liked how it wasn't so it wasn't all so conjoined. You know what I mean? Like it was bits and pieces and everyone filling in gaps. Like,
Well, that's the whole point.
Cool.
It's a gigantic universe. You can
Yeah.
have a random story from here, a random
Exactly.
story that
I
doesn't
like
have to
that.
necessarily affect everything.
There's
now
no
it's
reason those can't happen.
No, I know, but now it seems like they're planning it out too thoroughly, and it just seems.
No, so the story group or the Star Wars story group, or I think the Lucasfilm story group, whatever it's called, they're not there to say this is what you have to write and this is what you have. They're just there to make sure that everything.
Well,
That
to a
they,
certain extent, they
Who
are.
knows,
They're
Julian?
overarching. They are.
no,
but
not so
in a lot of-
much, because you can still write
there's a lot-
stories from any time. The
I don't know,
idea is
well,
that they
so-
don't want something from one book conflicting with something from the movies or from another book. They just
Yeah.
want everything to flow properly. No conflicts, That's it.
Hey, but Julian, it's going to be like look at what's happening with Marvel Comics. Right after the Avengers comes out, it's all sort of connected. How they change
Yeah.
the art style, and then how certain stories are being told differently, so that Falcon's a
fits
big
in.
part of it now, or whatever.
But
Right?
that's not
it's
the
going to be a
same.
lot of that kind of stuff.
Because this started in the films. These are just stories that are filling in your knowledge of what you already know happened in the movies. That's not this isn't the same where these characters had their own things going on already, and all of a sudden the movies came along, and now people were doing is now different. That's not the case. This is just building on this universe that was already established in the films. The difference between the comics, Marvel stuff, and the Star Wars stuff is that the movies are their own thing and the comics are their own thing, whereas the books and the movies and the TV shows are all one thing with Star Wars.
Well, that's what we're saying. It doesn't have to be like that.
But it is, and
No,
if they want it to be that way.
Sure, you can just say that, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Well, no, but it is that way. That's what I'm saying. That's how
Okay,
they want it
let's
to
move
be.
No, we know it is that way. It's just like that. To me, that's not. It's not super genuine to do it that way, in my opinion.
But would you
Like,
rather have people
I like the
willy-nilly writing
disjointed
stories?
version of it from before.
Would you rather have people really writing stories that never happened or don't take place? Because those things can still happen. They're just not official canon. That's the only difference.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
they won't be able to write with the Star Wars name anymore either.
I mean, you can still write Star Wars quote-unquote legends books if you want, as far as I understand. that
I
they
mean,
just
maybe, I doubt they're going to really put a lot of effort into that.
well, no, I mean, if you're a writer who want to write Star Wars stories, I think you're more excited to write in a cohesive, established universe with
Yeah, of
rules
course.
than you are to just write
Yeah.
your own story. I
I'm not
think.
saying I'm just rebelling against this for no reason. Like I see it happen before, and like this just seems like, why do I need to go into this? Like, whatever.
You don't
know what I
have to, and that's the choice. That's the whole thing. That's the great part of this, is that if you want to enhance your knowledge of the movies that are coming up, I mean, there's 32 years of stories to be told between Return of the Jedi, right? That's your choice. You can go do that. But the movies aren't saying, hey, go read these books, otherwise you're not going to understand what's going on in these movies, because that's definitely not going to happen, right?
No, yeah, nobody was saying that, but
So I think it comes down to your choice anyway. I mean, if you choose to read these books, there's lots there for you. If there's, what I'm saying is, there's almost too much Star Wars that you, as just a regular human being, you couldn't possibly keep up with all. You know, if you want.
well, it's, again, like to go back, it's basically like a comic book universe.
Yeah.
You can't read every single comic book. You don't have to, because you can still read the ones you care about and be
about the
fine.
characters that you want, exactly. And yeah, that's a good way of putting it, actually. So the Mission Impossible Rogue. So I don't even know how to just say this title. So Mission Impossible 5, also known as Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Has they always been Mission semicolon?
Yes, yeah, Impossible. It was like, because the first one was just Mission Codename Impossible, right?
Oh, okay.
So that's stuck.
So they've always been Mission semicolon Impossible blah blah blah. Okay, so because to me it doesn't make sense for it to be called Mission quote unquote semicolon Impossible Rogue Nation. That just seems silly to me. But okay, whatever.
It's something between the Impossible and the Rogue as well.
I think. But anyways, that's what it's called.
I know it's Mission Impossible, then you just say
Yeah, exactly. Like Mission Impossible is underlined, and then Rogue Nation is the subtitle.
But the way it's spelt with the
I know, I
semicolon
get
there, that's what throws me off. That's not important.
Yep.
What's important is
like, look at the show notes. Like, pretend it's not all red and then black.
Yeah,
Pretend
if
it's
you type
all
it
one.
out, if you type it out like that,
Yeah, yeah.
well, that's how it's. Anyway, that's not the point. What is important though is the fact that we will be seeing Tom Cruise running again in, in this
Not
movie.
just running, sprinting.
and
It's true,
as Jeremy said, I don't know if it was on the podcast, but nothing. What did you say, Jeremy? What was your exact quote? Is there nothing gets your heart racing?
Yeah, as excited as a sprinting Tom Cruise.
Um,
Think about it. You see a movie trailer with Tom Cruise sprinting away from like a disaster.
I know.
It's fucking badass.
Even just watching this trailer, like, it reminded me, like, it works every time.
How sweet is that motorcycle chase sequence in the trailer? We're talking about the trailer. It came out
Very reminiscent of MI2.
very exactly. Who directed MI2? It was
Ang Lee. Was
Ang Lee, right? Who is a really awesome, action director. But that movie is so convoluted and confusing. Good luck trying to keep up with what's actually going on.
There's some cool twists, but yeah.
There's like too many twists in MI2.
That's the one with the face mask
They
thing.
go way over.
Might be the definitive Mission Impossible movie is MI2.
I don't know about that.
So- A great bad guy, great
Yeah.
twists, great action.
That's
I don't know, like
So I would like to point everyone to a YouTube video that I tweeted out the other day on on our YouTube account or Twitter account. That was just a video that is all it is Tom Cruise running, and it's like it plays. It plays a song that's like, I can't remember what the song is. It's like "Run for Me" or something like that. And at one point at the end of the video, it says, not every movie. We didn't have time to fit every movie that Tom Cruise is running in, and here's the ones where he isn't running. But this one scene from MI3 is long enough for all of them. And then it shows that scene where like a long pull-out shot.
it's like 5 minutes.
Yeah, of him just sprinting. And then he scrolls slowly all the movies that he's either that they didn't show or if him not running in. By the way,
The number one sprinting scene is MI1 when he throws the gum onto the glass of the aquarium. Slow-mo, and then he's running over the glass.
And he's running away from the water spilling out from behind him.
Then it cuts back to regular motion, and he's just like sprinting super fast away.
Yeah? No, there's
Second is MI3 when the missile hits the bridge, and then at the end he flies sideways because of
No, that's MI4. That's the last one.
That's protocol.
Yeah, that's the last one. MI3 is the one where he's running through like Tokyo, and he's like, it's that 5-minute sequence of him running down that street. And then no, you're right though. The one where he's running on
I
the
have to look
bridge.
this up. Yeah, I think you guys were
No, it's Ghost Protocol. He's running. The missile
Yeah,
hits the car.
that's the one where the Kremlin gets bombed. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's not the trailer for that one.
that's
is it?
MI4, man.
Four.
See, they all blend together. By the way, I literally liked Mission Impossible 4.
Yeah.
I thought it was,
It was
criminally.
fine. It was whatever.
I think this is coming back. Like, I think Mission Impossible is coming back to form in this next one. I like any movie with Simon Pegg, right? Is that who Simon Pegg is in the movie?
Yeah.
Right? And I like the supporting cast they built around Tom Cruise. Here's what I think about Tom Cruise. Okay, I think.
You guys are wrong. It's Mission Impossible 3.
What?
No, what are you talking about? What scene are you talking about?
When he's on the bridge running away from the missile, it's Mission Impossible 3.
No, that's
This is the one where he got blown sideways. Is
Yeah.
Mission Impossible 4.
That's 4.
No, I said 3.
Yeah, I know.
But that's the one you're talking about. Is Mission Impossible 4.
No, I said the second best is in Mission Impossible 3 when he's running and gets blown sideways. That's what I
That's
said.
4 though. That's what we're saying. That's
Oh, I just looked it up. It's 3.
we'll do this afterwards.
Maybe
We'll-
it's
we'll-
no. I'm
we'll
just
get-
saying. Is there possibly a sequence in Mission Impossible 3 where he's running on a bridge?
That's idiots.
No.
He's running over the bridge. It's the one with what's his name who's dead now. Who was the villain in it?
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Philip Seymour Hoffman. That's the
That's
one.
three.
Oh, so okay, that's okay. So we're
That's
thinking
the
of
one-
2 different scenes
It
on a
happens,
bridge.
in 4 as well. Then.
Okay,
Yeah.
but the main one is in 3. It's
I guess.
it's the sweetest one.
The point is, I like the cast they built around Tom Cruise. When I think about Tom Cruise, like acting wise, the other day I had a table at work while I was serving, and they were talking about I don't know something with Tom Cruise in it, and they're like, he hasn't really, I like Tom Cruise, or I'm not really sure if I like Tom Cruise. He hasn't really done that much good stuff, and then without even prompting, I didn't say anything. One of the other people at the table was like, "What about this movie?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, he was really good in that." And then the other person was like, "What about that movie?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, he was really good in that too." And then it was like it went on for a good 3 minutes.
Disregard his movies. They're great movies.
There's
You have-
so
great-
many good. I think he is. I'm gonna put this out there. Let's see what you guys think. I think he's the best leading man. And when you think about like just can own a movie and can just sell a movie on his own, Tom Cruise is the best leading man in Hollywood right now.
I would have agreed with you more if you said like.
Have you seen Chris Pratt?
No, like before, like
Chris
not.
Pratt's
I
not
would-
selling anything, Dan.
I
Chris
wouldn't
Pratt's not
say
selling
right.
anything.
I know, he's just in
wouldn't-
everything.
I wouldn't say right now. I would say when MI2.
Yeah, like
and
early
other-
2000s.
No,
Yeah.
I agree, but I think he's actually maintained that quality, and just it hasn't been.
It's
it
slightly,
hasn't,
but it's been tarnished with the whole Oprah.
yeah, I agree, but I'm just talking movies only.
That's when like Paramount and shit like didn't re-sign him on a contract or whatever for their movies or whatever. You know what I mean? Like his popularity was going down.
I see, but you go. All you have to, I
So
agree
that,
with you.
in my opinion, I would say that Tom Cruise is the best action star of all time. I would have said that in the early
Really?
2000s. Absolutely.
Of all time.
Of all time.
That's and
He
you
had-
you
he
love Arnold.
being
No.
the Arnold lover that you are.
No, okay, modern then. Like, what do you want to like?
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you want me to say?
Yeah. But even like of all time, he's in the top 5.
Yeah,
During fucking
yeah.
team.
Not even top 5. I'd say top 3 for sure.
Yeah, that too. Sure.
And then there's a Sylvester Stallone like movie marathon on TV today, and Tom Cruise is way like leaps and bounds ahead of Sylvester Stallone. Not only just in acting chops alone,
Yeah.
he's leaps and bounds above him.
No, it's just in the Mission Impossible movies alone and Minority Report and
No report.
and Jack Reacher even one of his newer movies.
Yeah.
And I think probably his worst action movie is probably War of the Worlds. But even then, I like that one.
Live,
like-
Die, Repeat, or whatever it's called.
Live, Die, Repeat was amazing too, and that's a new one, right? Like
What's it actually called? No. What's it called? What's it actually called?
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow. Right. The generic version.
Yeah, it's renamed Live, Die, Repeat.
Yeah. But like that, like when I saw Live, Die, Repeat, I'm just gonna call it that from now on. It was like I had like a second coming in Tom Cruise fandom. I was
Yeah.
like, this
Yeah, you
is
did.
this is what I want. This is what I wanted from Tom Cruise for so long.
It was a religious experience. Like
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. But anyway, I'm super stoked for this next Mission Impossible, and like that scene at the end where he's hanging off the plane, because they have to up their stakes every time, right? And it's got like the trade, like, were the Mission Impossible movies always funny, or is it just the last 2 that started having like comedy?
there's always jokes in them.
A little bit, yeah.
Because like when he's like,
like,
open the door.
Relief a lot.
Yeah. No, and that's important in a good action movie. But when you take yourself too seriously, you just look like you're trying to rip off a Walk Amongst the Tombstones or something.
Yeah, Mission Impossible 1, like it's probably one of the greatest action movies.
Well, never mind that. Like, it has one of the most iconic
It started
movie
a
scenes.
lot of iconic, if not the most iconic scene, and it's not even that heavy action.
No, that's just tense. That's
it's
just
him
tension.
stealthily hanging on a wire, almost being caught. You know what I mean?
That's man. His sweat is used as like a tension point.
We all know.
And then two, also to Live Die Repeat's credit, they kind of took Tom Cruise away from his regular mold of being this ultimate badass.
Maybe that's what it was, Jeremy. Maybe that's
What's
what
that?
it was. What it was that movie itself rebuilt Tom Cruise as the badass.
That's what I'm saying. It took him away from being a badass. He was a bad guy in the beginning who didn't know anything.
He wasn't a bad guy.
He had to build up.
Yeah. He wasn't a bad guy.
He was a shitty guy.
Distributor is a bad guy, shitty guy. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
He's not like the villain.
No, I know, but
then he has to grow and learn and become that badass that we know and love.
all I'm saying is that maybe that movie itself is a metaphor for our rejuvenation in Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Right? Like, because he had to build himself back up into that action hero, right?
Yeah.
And we
But
had
it's
to.
just refreshing not to see him invincible in the beginning.
Like,
you know
what
I mean?
movie is that when he's like fights himself, that clone of himself that from not that long ago, he flies in that bubble? You know the one I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Not a great movie, but Tom Cruise is good in it. You know, what's it called? It's a really weird name.
One of himself in a bubble.
You've never seen it. He literally, if you really love Tom Cruise, there's no better scene than watching Tom Cruise fight Tom Cruise.
Like one word, like cyclone or something, but it's not.
I want to say Inception. It's not Inception, but it's it's something like
it's like
that.
Parallax.
It's not
none of
Parallax.
those.
It's not Parallax or Inception. Anyway.
I swear to God.
You know what? I think it might start with an O. But anyway, that's not the point. We're
look it
really
up.
excited for the next MI movie, Mission Impossible movie. So
He fights a clone of himself in a bubble.
This is
no,
this,
not in a bubble, but he also flies like a floating bubble.
Morgan Freeman was in it as well.
Was he? Yeah, short. He wasn't very. Yeah, he was set in the future. It was like
He just
post-apocalyptic.
that he's a clone, by the way. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, well, guess what? Movie's not very good. Anyway, so let's move on a little bit here. There's a few Suicide Squad rumors. So, Latino Review, and they're usually good for this stuff, is reporting that the Joker is more physically imposing, and we talked about that, how Jared Leto was putting on weight for the role.
Oblivion.
Thank you, Jeremy.
I knew it started with an O, though.
Which is, talk about generic titles, right? Like, Jesus Christ. Oblivion?
Well, I saw a pretty funny tweet actually the other day.
It's all safe.
That said, Rogue is going to be the new Rise or Dawn.
Yeah, no, it's probably true. Rogue Nation and Rogue One, and you know
They're
that's
the first
just
two.
Yeah, that's just first of many. Anyway, so what I was saying about the Joker is that we already know that Jared Leto is putting on weight, and that normally the Joker isn't very like physically imposing. You know, he doesn't really fight Batman, right? But he's gonna be more like the Joker from The Dark Knight Returns. If you remember when he's wearing like that double-breasted suit,
Yeah.
and he has got like very wide shoulders. That's kind of like the idea that they're pulling from for.
And they're pulling a lot from that.
Yeah,
concept.
absolutely. I mean, I think even his hairstyle alone is gonna be that like slick back green hair kind of thing from like they had on the talk show in The Dark Knight Returns. Hugo Strange is apparently working at the prison where the Joker is. He's probably going to play a small role in the film. Harley Quinn is going to have multiple outfits. That's apparently starting out with an homage to her original outfit from the animated series. And that her pet hyenas will make some sort of appearance. And finally, Deathstroke. This is, again, rumor. Deathstroke is going to be in the film and will play a villain role as one of the hired assassins for the enemy organization. That he won't have superpowers, but he will have his iconic mask. Obviously, if Deathstroke is in the movie, that's big because we haven't heard anything about that. There's no big main actor been cast in that role. So,
Did you see the rumored plot line, kind of, though, for the movie?
maybe it's all blends together now.
Oh, yeah. Well, I heard one, I think it was from Latino Review, that Amanda Waller gets in touch with the Joker, mostly because the Joker's the only one who has been face-to-face with Batman. from his
I
past.
actually do remember hearing that because like apparently Batman makes an appearance in the film, but only on like a video recording.
Yeah.
Someone got like some sort of small video, recorded some video of Batman. He's still kind of like myth,
Yeah.
and they need to they want to try to track him down because they need his help or something or something like
the
that.
Joker's the way to do this, which is pretty. That
makes
sounds pretty
sense.
cool.
Yeah.
Admittedly, if the first thing you see of Batman is like a blurry like cell phone video in like on a monitor in Suicide Squad, how like it's just like the most teasy tease you could possibly give.
Yeah, but
Batman.
we get BVS before that though.
Yeah, that's true. That's not really that big of a deal, I guess.
Yeah.
Do we? No, it's Batman vs Superman and Suicide Squad.
Batman vs Superman is done filming now.
Oh, that's right. Suicide Squad starts filming. Did it start filming already, or is it filming like right away within like the
well, I
next
know
couple weeks?
that Michael Jai White. No, is it Michael Jai? No.
No, that's just Daniel's favorite
Jai
black
Courtney.
actor.
Jai Courtney.
Yeah.
Daniel's second favorite black
shit
actor.
with
Mm.
because they're going to be doing a lot of
And Will Smith is Deadshot.
Deadshot, yeah. Man, like the cast is pretty unreal.
Michael
Really,
Jai.
for Suicide Squad, that cast is
Why would that's so
insane.
crazy?
why.
What is?
Just we've
That
already
Will-
talked
that
about it,
Will
but it's
Smith.
crazy that Will Smith is
Yeah.
that shit.
I mean, it's
Jesus.
good because he like. When's the last time Will Smith did anything good? Jesus. Apparently, what's it called? Isn't bad though. Focus apparently isn't too bad, but it's very much his
Yeah,
classic.
a lot of people like it.
Well, I mean, it's just really like a return to what Will Smith has always been done before. It's nothing outside of his wheelhouse. You know what I mean? It's just like charismatic guy.
Oh,
Wheelhouse.
It's but it's not the action heavy iRobot we're used to seeing with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, this is a psychological type thriller
Yeah.
thing. Where he's messing with people in terms of.
But he's still that charismatic guy that you expect. He's not like trying to change his like typecast at all. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's basically I'm pretty sure they're basically villains in this movie. Like they're stealing from rich
So it's
people.
kind of like what's that movie with Jennifer Lawrence from 2 years ago that won the Oscars?
American Hustle.
What?
American Hustle.
American Hustle. Yeah, it's like that. I guess.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, like, and I think it's kind of spoilers, but I think they get caught in the end. But like, there's this amazing scene where he kind of goes over everything of how he stole from this man.
Oh, it's a scene like from Usual Suspects. A Usual Suspects like recap of how everything.
Yeah,
Oh
which
my,
is-
those are
which
my.
is cool. Just a picture of Will Smith like just saying how he stole this and like he convinced this guy to do this and then he, like that just sounds like a cool movie. So
Yep. I'm on board.
But then also for multiple reviewings, right? To see,
Mm-hmm.
right? Once he
Yeah.
tells you how he did this and that, then you see
You
it.
go back and try to notice.
Right.
So, former community directors, the Russo brothers. I like to refer to them as former community directors. They've done a lot of other stuff, but the Russo brothers.
They refer them as that. I refer them as
Winter Soldier.
Captain America, Winter Soldier.
Well, that's fair. We'll be directing Avengers: Infinity War. It's official now. Parts 1 and 2, and we'll do so in one long shoot, a la Lord of the Rings.
Just like Matrix 2 and
Reloaded and Revolutions.
yes.
They will be returning to Marvel for the Avengers films after helming last year's Cap 2, like we just talked about, and are in the process of getting ready for Captain America: Civil War, which officially starts filming in April, so just a couple weeks away. I think that we've been speculating about that for a while, so that's not really news.
And if anyone other than Joss is going to do it, that in the Marvel wheelhouse, it's them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe we'd like Joss to do it, just because he's created this whole universe, basically. Like,
Well, he's still going to be like consulting.
Involved, yeah.
and but the Russo brothers, they're so good at action, and that's going to be awesome to see.
And they're really good at formulating like a cohesive story that's not overly simple. It's a complex story that's still easy to follow and understand what's happening.
Which is kind of what you need because it's going to get ridiculous in
Yeah,
Infinity
and
War.
the movie is for kids too. So
Yeah.
Which we always forget about, but we're really just
I
big
don't,
kids anyway.
because I'm a kid.
Jennifer Lawrence and Nicholas Hoult, he plays Beast in the X-Men movies, says that Apocalypse will be their last X-Men film. This news probably comes as a disappointment to everyone except for Daniel, who doesn't like Jennifer Lawrence.
No, I don't like her. I don't love her like everybody else
Why do we always
does.
repeat this shit?
It's really not that big of a loss, though, considering she's really just in blue makeup most of the time, and it could be interesting to see another take.
No.
But she's a big part of Professor X's story.
And huge star power, like
I get it, but
Full
both
cast
characters. both characters are in blue makeup for a lot of the time. It's not a problem to see a new take on these characters as they get older. Anyway.
No, I know, but the thing is, she's an attraction for people to go see the
No
movie.
one's seeing X-Men Apocalypse just to see Jennifer Lawrence.
I think there were
Yeah,
people
they
that
are, man. You know,
like, and you get a lot of carryover from Hunger Games. All those people.
yeah,
sure.
they casted her before Hunger Games was
Yeah.
a hit. They struck
Before she won
they
a
struck
Oscar.
complete gold.
Yeah.
And then they had her, and then guess what? We got to write Mystique more so in the
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
storyline, and that's what they're doing.
this also it all makes sense because rumors have been swirling for months that the story focuses for Apocalypse focuses heavily on Mystique and her relationship with Beast.
Yeah,
And the film has been referred to multiple times as the end of a trilogy for these new first class characters, right? So if it's the end of a trilogy, whatever, Jennifer Lawrence walks away, maybe Holt walks away. I mean, but he's much been more like upfront about how he's really enjoyed the process. So I mean, maybe his contract can be renegotiated for future films because we know there's going to be more films.
Actors are in a relationship together in real life.
Holt and Lawrence.
Yes.
You would have thought she could have done better. Just kidding. That's mean. Anyway, it's not huge news. It's just interesting to see what she's gonna do when she's out of the contract with Fox, because she's got big things obviously with Hunger Games ending and X-Men ending. Like her options are huge as an Oscar-winning actress who is like one of the most popular and best looking in the industry. Like she could do pretty much anything she wants.
That's good looking.
Yeah, I agree.
Daniel's so upset. It doesn't make any sense. The Fantastic Four will probably get their comic book costumes, their classic comic book costumes, by the end of the movie. There's an interview with the director, and they're saying how, it's not Fantastic Four unless they have something similar to those like costumes. So what we've seen so far is just not everything we're going to see. I'm just still, I'm going to hold all judgment on that film until I see it, and I don't know what to think. I really don't. Maybe it'll turn out well. I'm just going to keep my expectations low.
I think it will turn out well, and then we'll just basically forget about it.
Yeah. You think they're going to try to tie it into the X-Men?
No.
No, I mean, Fox owns it. I mean, like, if this doesn't work, if it's not a big hit...
Everyone else is doing cinematic universes. They might as well try to connect their shit.
Yeah, but, like, okay, what if this doesn't work? But if this
I don't think I want them to. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
If this doesn't work, do you think they kind of go, like... They pull a Spider-Man 2 and be like, hey, this isn't working? I mean, Fox isn't in the same need for money like Sony was.
Absolutely.
But do you think they say, fuck it, let's just, we make a joint venture, we'll make some money off of it, you make some money off it, you guys know what you're doing.
I really hope that
hand it back to Marvel.
that Spider-Man is setting a precedent for that. So like, we don't have to focus on all these big, these corporate legal issues, and just like, let's have the movie that we all want to see.
Yeah, I mean, like, really, you guys both make money. Everyone makes money. That's why I don't get this.
Everybody profits hugely.
It's about
Yeah,
greed.
but they're greedy. Yeah, they want all the profits.
Because it's broken down into like percentages and stuff. But still, you just give the people what they want.
Yeah. Mallrats 2 will film in 2016, according to Kevin Smith. I only bring that up because I think I'm a big Kevin Smith fan. I kind of like what he does with his podcasting. It's kind of an inspiration to what we're kind of doing. I mean, I remember seeing Mallrats long time ago and thinking I remember liking it. So
it's a fun movie. Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but that's good for him. Adam Sandler's latest movie, Pixels, has got its first trailer. I watched it. It doesn't look terrible, but it doesn't also look very good either. Do you think it looks terrible, Jeremy?
Yeah.
It's tough. Maybe it's the fact that it's based on video games. It's like clouding my judgment, maybe a little. But it doesn't look as bad as some of his other movies have been.
But there's definitely some funny moments when like Donkey Kong comes out of nowhere and he's like throwing barrels at them, but like.
Yeah, and he's like, it looks better than Grown Ups 2. Let's put it that way, all right? And not setting a high standard here.
The Pac-Man moment's pretty funny too when the creator comes up to him and stuff.
Yeah, no. It's what I've seen. It doesn't look terrible. It's based on video games. It's worth it. I'll check it out. Is what I'm
Never
saying.
paid to go see it. But.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I guess the plot is that we sent a time capsule into space that's from the 80s, and then aliens interpreted it as something as like a threat, and then they came to Earth like 80s video games.
Evil. That's why like Donkey Kong's throwing barrels down like this the ramp thing, whatever.
Yeah, like there's a giant Pac-Man going through the streets like eating cars, And,
like it destroys and kills everything.
Yeah.
It's like funny. And I think it's based off of a short story or like a short YouTube video or something.
Yeah.
Or a Futurama episode. There's a Futurama episode. That's
Anyway,
yeah, Futurama recently. Did you watch that?
no, I didn't.
Look it up.
moving on. Furious 7, which is the 7th movie in the Fast and Furious franchise, if you didn't guess, is coming out like in like a week. But I don't know if do you guys know what it's called in Japan? I love this. I just threw this in because I really wanted to talk about it.
No, I don't.
It's called Wild Speed Sky Mission. And
Sky Mission?
Wild Speed Sky Mission. Yeah. And just for fun, I'll tell you what the name.
Sky Mission?
I'll tell you what the name for all the other Fast and Furious movies were in Japan. So, first one was called Wild Speed. The second one, Wild Speed X2. Third was Wild Speed X3. I'm not sure where the X's come from, but or time, whatever. The fourth was Tokyo Drift. It was just called Tokyo Drift. Okay, sure. Then it was called Wild Speed Max.
Wasn't Tokyo Drift the third movie?
Well, Dan, I'm just telling you, Wild Speed. It was called
What's
Wild
Fast
Speed
and
X3.
Furious 3?
There's also but there's also Tokyo Drift. It was just called its own thing. Then there
Yeah,
was
but what's X3?
well, it's just the third one, I guess. I don't know.
It would be the fourth Fast and Furious.
Then there's Wild Speed Max, Wild Speed Max, and then Wild Speed Euro Mission was the last one.
Nice.
I love Sky Mission the best though. It's just so Japanese, isn't that? It's just
Yeah, and it's from that one scene where they're
in the sky.
Yeah.
it's not that original, but it's fun.
Well, they gotta transport their muscle cars and their Ferraris
Somehow.
someplace, so they just parachute out.
Do you think
They probably gun the engine and like drive in midair, and then they're landing while they're driving.
Do you think that they use that giant runway from the last movie?
Yeah, the skyscraper.
Yeah.
Jeremy,
What?
I think they used that giant runway from the last movie to take off with that plane, that like 5-mile long runway or like whatever, a 20-mile long runway.
I guess so.
I feel like I wasn't the only one, but like a lot of people like ending that movie are like, man, that was a lot of fun, but like how long was that fucking runway? Like that was like so many people thought that, and then they're like right away just didn't care anymore.
Fast 6 is probably the best in the series since the first one, though. I think
Well, it's a little over the. I don't know. The heist one's my favorite one. The Fast.
they're all heist movies, but Fast 5 is the worst.
What?
The
No.
one with the bolts is the worst. Fast 6 is the best one.
All right. I don't know. Each their own. The fact that there's 7 of these movies is unreal.
Well, no, I know. In my opinion, the reboot when they brought them all back, like Fast 4 or whatever, that one
Fast
was
and Furious, it was called, I think.
yeah, Fast and Furious, because that one was like the best of both worlds. Like it had the street racing plus the heist thing. Then Fast 5 was only heist, and it was way over the top, way like too
Jeremy,
unreal.
it's all got you, and yeah, the last one wasn't over the
But
top.
it all
He
has
jumps
done that.
off
No, I
of
know.
the car smashes into a post, and he flies off of it in midair, catches someone, and then lands on a car.
Yeah, that's
hood.
way cooler than dragging two bank
That's
vaults.
not over the top. That's not over the top to you.
No, I'm saying they're all over the top, but the bank vaults is not that cool.
I
Yeah.
guess.
And you
All right.
can't drag a huge bank vault like that and keep driving your car. Like it doesn't have to make sense, but like those other things are so over the top, they're just so cool to watch.
I guess. And then The Rock being involved is awesome, right? And
And
he
then
wasn't
there's
involved.
gonna be a send off to Paul Walker. I'm trying to stay away from the spoilers. I don't want to know what they do. I just know that people are happy with what they did.
There was a really, really cool video that a guy filmed in a early screening for Fast 7 or Furious 7, whatever. And it had Vin Diesel. He's like doing introduction for the movie, and he like gets really emotional and like really starts to break down about like how he's saying like how his best friend passed away while he was filming this movie, and like and then the crowd like kind of like came to his like they're like, we love you, Vin. He's like, fuck, I love you guys. You're my family. Like, because how the movies are all about having family, right? Like that's just your friends are your family, and then he really sees the fans of these movies as the family, the Fast and Furious family. It's really nice if you get a chance to see it.
Yeah, he had a daughter last week born, and he named her Pauline
Oh, really?
after Paul Walker.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't even know he was married.
I also saw a blurb of his today that he said Fast 7 should win the Oscar for Best Picture.
Well, he can
And
bring
like,
it all
that's
he
a bit
wants,
much.
Well, that goes to Julian's point of always.
Well, that's what he said. He said if they want to be relevant, they should do that.
but- Speaking of relevant,
I disagree.
speaking of relevant, Commando 2, a movie that was never made. We got news this
So you
week.
gotta read this. You gotta read it.
No,
aloud.
I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read the whole thing. So, a plot for Commando 2 leaked online, I guess, or not leaked, but the screenwriter from the first movie, Stephen E. D'Souza, not not
It's
Daniel
like
D'Souza.
Souza though.
Yeah, it's like D'Souza, not like apostrophe Souza. Anyway, anyway, so he's the screenwriter he was on Commando. One my favorite terrible action movie. It's so bad but so good because it's so bad, right?
Yeah.
He in an interview, Darabont. He's the guy from. Didn't he was the director of those like prison movies like Green Mile and am I crazy? He did Green Mile and Shawshank Redemption.
He was on Walking Dead or something like that.
Frank Darabont.
I
Maybe.
don't think he's a zombie on Walking Dead.
No,
or something.
Frank Darabont.
Anyway.
No. He did Shawshank Redemption. I wasn't wrong. Anyway, so Frank Darabont. So I'll start over again. I did write a sequel for that, which is floating around the internet. Frank Darabont even did have some revisions. In that movie, I would look at how experiences change people, such as how in Die Hard 2, people reference how famous John McClane is after the events of the first film. So for Commando 2, we figure that Arnold, after blowing up half of Los Angeles, achieves some sort of notoriety. He retires from the army, and by the time the sequel occurs, is running a security firm. The plot would have him hired by a big corporation to oversee their security to protect their executives from being kidnapped, to stop people from breaking into their building and make sure their computers are secure. So he sets up and hires the most dangerous people to be and the most dangerous people to be guards in the building, and then lo and behold, he discovers that the people he's working for are an illegal arms business, and the big corporation is simply a front. The end of the movie would see Jenny, Alyssa Milano, Arnie's daughter from the first film, and Cindy, Dawn Ray Chong's stewardess, who is now a lawyer, trapped in the building, and Arnold now has to defeat all the people he hired, all the meanest, toughest guards, as well as the...
That's fantastic.
No, I'm not done. As well as the security systems, the guard dogs, and everything! Exclamation mark.
Awesome.
That is the best description for any movie ever, and I don't know why this movie wasn't made.
Damn it, that sounds good.
Oh, Jeremy was mentioning earlier in the pre-show.
Guards. And,
Well,
the
yeah, but
guards.
like he's gonna have little bits where he's like with the guy and they are all specialists in some sort of martial art or whatever.
Do you
And then he's like, "Oh, you're the best," and then he has to fight them
Yeah,
later.
yeah. It's like a video game. That every boss.
Yeah.
It's like Punch Out.
The best part is that it's clearly just kind of like a riff on Die Hard, right? Like they're like, well, we wanted something that was like cool like Die Hard 2, so we made like Commando but with Die Hard. You know? And like it just seems like it's the idea that someone like obviously like a 10-year-old wrote the story for Commando, right? So a 12-year-old wrote the story for Commando 2 after seeing Die Hard. You know what I mean? That's what it feels like to me, and that's why I love it.
So happy we know about that now.
This makes you
Someone's gonna recreate that in some sort of cartoon form, or
it just warms your heart knowing that there was an idea for Commando 2. Some alternate universe Commando 2 was filmed, and and if we can figure out the secret to jumping through universes, we can somehow see that movie. Or better yet, go into the Commando universe, right?
Yep.
Where anyone can just lift a tree and and feed deer with their bare hands. I guess that's possible. You can do that in real life now. So never mind. Let's move on. There's like only a couple stories left, and we'll go into some TV stuff. So Dan, this is some Game of Thrones news that I want to talk to you about. It's gonna really hurt your feelings. So I just want you to get. I just want you to get into a right emotional state, and then we can move on. Okay.
In that emotional state for like a week. It's bullshit.
Okay. So it's gonna be the last story. I'm gonna soften you up with some other stuff. Okay. So Dan, this might bring some joy to your heart. George R.R. Martin won't be coming to San Diego Comic-Con this year, and you want to know why? He wants to finish writing the next book. Okay.
Ta-da!
Really? See, we're happy. That's good news, right? Good. Okay. Here's another piece of good news, I think. The HBO programming director has confirmed that there won't be a Game of Thrones movie to end the series, essentially saying that it wouldn't be fair to the loyal TV audience to make them pay $16 to go see a movie after they've been around and subscribing to HBO for those years, right? That's good news too. No movie. It's all the series. That's probably the best. But here's the thing that's really gonna, I think, it's really gonna dig a dagger right into that Game of Thrones heart of yours. Okay. And it's pretty big news. So I think we should. I'm gonna make this is pretty big. HBO has confirmed that they will begin spoiling future Game of Thrones books, and will conclude before the books are finished being written.
Before the final book is released. Yeah. In Christ.
So, speaking to Oxford Union via Vanity Fair, Benioff, who's one of the showrunners, explained, quote, "Luckily, we've been talking about this with George for a long time. Ever since we saw this could happen, we know where things are heading. And so, eventually, basically, we meet up pretty much the same place where George is going. There might be a few deviations along the route, but we're heading towards the same destination. I kind of wish that there were some things that we didn't have to spoil, but we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. The show must go on, and that's what we're going to do." He continues with, "I think the thing that's kind of fun for George is that the idea that he can still have surprises for people once they've watched the show through to conclusion. There are certain things that are going to happen in the books that are different in the show. I think people who love the show and want more, like we talked about, this is not the quote anymore, this is like what we talked about last time, who want more, want to know more about the characters, want to know more about the different characters who might not have made it into the show, will be able to turn to the books and get that information." Daniel, where does this leave you? How sad are you?
We all already know. I'm also stuck between a rock and a hard place because I'm gonna have to watch the show anyways. I can't not. But I really would prefer to have the story in the books first, because as much as they say there are going to be deviations, and of course it's going to be somewhat different, there are still the big spoilers that are unavoidable. This is the end of the series. The series is going to end, and I'm going to know before I'm finished reading the books. And no matter what, that book reading is going to be changed after.
Still watch the show.
But
there's no way I'm going to not watch the show.
Why not?
I would like to. But we have a whole podcast about the show.
Are you subscribed to HBO?
No.
Yes.
Then you have to watch the show.
I know, but it's going to be hard to not watch the show. And even if I don't watch the show, it's going to be still hard to avoid those spoilers.
So, Dan, what do you think of the second part where he says how he thinks that it's good for... It's not necessarily good, but he thinks it's exciting for book readers who want to get more out of the finale. If they're going to the same place, it's going to end the same way. It's not going to be exactly the same, but they want to get more out of it. Yeah. They can go to the books.
Yeah, so there's still
I agree.
There'll be some new content then for you when the books come out.
Of course, but it's going to be negligible. It's going to be minor stuff. The big stuff it has to be the same.
But they're big books, you know what I mean? They have to cut out. They do cut out.
So, for example, I watched the first season before having read the books. So, we don't need to say spoilers anymore, I guess. But Ned Stark dying was huge for me in the show.
That's like 4 years ago. You can go move on from that.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm reading the book, and I know that's going to happen. And there's a ton of extra stuff in the book. There's all these dream sequences, and there's a lot more context. And I still love the first book, but there was still that piece of me that knew the entire time that, Ned dies.
Yeah, so, but you also got to watch the entire first season of Game of Thrones on television where you didn't know that, and that's experiences.
Yeah, I know. And I'm saying, and I've said this before, the book version is more valuable to me. Yeah, so I couldn't imagine going through, like, the Red Wedding, for example, watching it on the show and then reading that there's a couple chapters in the book that are just beautifully written, and I wouldn't be able to do it the other way around.
And I think we talked about this on the post show last week. So if you guys want to go back 2 weeks ago, we have a recorded post show on YouTube. You can find that all at youtube.com/Tower Babblecast, and that's where we do all our live shows.
What is the point of having a show and a post show if it's all like?
But no, because when I put my stuff out on the podcast. It's just the beginning of our show and the end of our show. Gotcha. There's bonus content in the live stuff, and if you want to go back and listen to it, you have that option, but that's just on YouTube. Anyway, we have a really good discussion about this, and I think really what came out of it, although we were more arguing than discussing it at the time, was that it's a matter of choosing which medium you prefer.
Mm-hmm. It's a personal preference, yeah.
And if you choose, you don't have to be spoiled. And I think it's really upsetting to me. What bothers me is the fact that the book readers feel this privilege that their book shouldn't be spoiled. Whereas if they're watching the show as a show reader or a show watcher, that being spoiled for that isn't as important. That's what bugs me more.
So, Julie, because there are some people that would only read the books and not watch the show because they don't
And there's
like.
some people who would only watch the show and not read
Yes,
the books.
but the books aren't as much part of a mainstream culture that the spoilers will be unavoidable. The show is huge, and everybody is talking about it no matter what. The show is unavoidable, whereas the books are easily avoidable.
I don't know. You could still
I
get
mean,
away with
it's more difficult, I guess. I understand that, but
Very tough. You wouldn't be
Just
able to
don't-
go on Twitter.
Just don't go on social media.
and we're also talking much longer period of time, right?
People
Like,
do that for
And
sports
the
games.
type of person that only reads the books and doesn't watch the show is more likely to not be on Twitter and that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly, right.
But still,
No, it's still.
there's all
I-
these like,
I
forums
didn't-
and stuff.
I definitely feel the pain for book readers, or whatever. But like, I get you just want to read that end. You want to get all that context and just go through it that way. But it's still something special that everyone on the planet is going to experience
at the
these
same time.
together.
And I'll be there, and I'm on board either way.
Yeah.
I just wish that the books, because it would have been perfect if the books were able to finish. Everyone else in the world could still have that experience, and I would be a part of that as well. It would just it would feel more concise that way for me, like to have the books done.
Yeah,
Whereas
no.
now it's like I'm going to be reading the book, and I'm not going to know when is this going to happen.
But then, like,
It's
to
always
me
gonna be in
too,
the back of my head.
it's just like I'd rather watch it with you, not having you not know what's happening.
Yes.
Because then I feel you over my shoulder, and you're like, you're
that look that he does.
And you'd be at the end like, right, or something. Because it's not about you. It's about the story and how it's going to end, right? And we all get it together now.
Jeremy?
So I like that.
You absolutely made the best possible point I've ever. That's perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. No, because that's exactly how I feel, and I feel like a lot of book readers have made it very much, like you said, they made it very much about them and how they don't want this or they don't want that or blah blah blah. Where this way everything is the story concludes, and if you are a fan of that story, everyone gets to experience the ending at the same time, which I think you can't put a price on that. That is
Well,
incredible.
it's easy to say that for someone who's a non-book reader, but I don't know.
But
We've
it's the
gone
same story.
But it really changes the books. You don't understand how, like, reading a book is a long experience. You're in it for hours and hours, and if it ruins it, it doesn't just ruin it. You're sitting through an hour-long TV show. It ruins the entire experience
But
of the book.
if you look at it as being ruined, it's not being ruined.
I'm looking towards the story of the place,
Exactly.
Ice and Fire. Like,
Yeah.
it's all happening, right? And
Yeah.
we get it in that more visceral, epic scope with the music playing and the visuals they see us and the actors have portrayed these characters that you know and love from the book, like physically portraying them. We get to see it now in real life, basically, right? And it's all together. But you get to go back and you get to read your book. You get your more context, and you still get that. It just, I understand you'd rather prefer that first, but it's so much more popular as the show, and everyone talks about it as a show. It's nice that we all get it together now,
Yeah,
and
I can
not
see
have that, you know.
And obviously, Jeremy, this is coming from a perspective as a film student, right?
Yeah.
Who very much loves the visual side of film, right? And film.
Absolutely.
And Dan is very much invested in like the detail and like the minutia that a book allows you, or as a visual medium you really can't.
It's just the writing and the imagination you get to put on to the subject matter yourself.
And I mean, I definitely weigh more towards what Jeremy's feeling here, and which is why it doesn't bother me as much. It's just kind of a interesting reverse flip of the script on how, you know, people were so worried, like not show watchers were so worried about being spoiled by book readers. Now it's like that script has been flipped somewhat.
Yeah, because there are dicks that go on forums and just tell people
Exactly.
Red Wedding.
So now, I mean, I don't actually know how many people are really not going to watch the show and try to avoid it and read the books. I don't think there's going to be that many people, really, to be honest.
I think like my knee-jerk reaction is that I want to, but I also know it would be almost impossible to do so.
Because like people like your parents, right? Like they're into it. And they show.
And you spoil, and not only that, you deprive yourself of the opportunity to take part in that. What we've talked about a lot about that zeitgeist.
Yes.
Of the discussion around it, right? And that's
a global
you
thing.
exactly, and that's worth so much, right?
It's a community thing.
And it's not like Netflix where someone can catch up or like, you know, watch it all first. It's all airing at a certain time, you know,
at the same time across
the same
coast
time
to coast.
everywhere in the entire world, basically, right? So yeah.
Anyway,
what did he say exactly? It's for sure will conclude before the final book is released.
yes, and
But it doesn't say
sense.
how many seasons or anything like that.
Well, because they're renewed up to season 6, but they've talked about 8 or 9 seasons. I wouldn't be surprised if it went to 10, Because just to make it an even, like, around 10 number.
Well, I don't think it'll go that far. Just judging. Well, I also don't know how big the next couple books are going to be, but judging from where we are now and the trailers and some of the stuff they're doing, they don't have a long
And
way to
he's
go.
got a lot to write, right? So like,
Well, yeah, I'm hoping he at least gets this next book out before any of that's ruined. If it's just the last book that's ruined, it's not as bad. But
we'd probably know by now his book release date, though, if it was even close to being done.
well, they said that it's not this year at all.
Yeah. So we get half of the season right this year.
Well, no, you get the
Yeah.
whole season this year.
It's broken up differently. It's weird. But
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to... After the second season, the books...
no,
and
the
show
entire
kind of
season
diverge.
is this year.
Oh, there's no break in.
No, they don't do the mid-season break
Oh,
thing.
okay. I thought they did.
Well, they do one break. Episode 9 to 10 has a 1 week break.
Yeah, you give it a week to.
Or 8 and 9. Between 8 and 9 or 9 and 10.
I think it's 8 and
1
9.
week, yeah. Either way, there's 11 weeks of Game of Thrones season.
And then they're
And it starts in like 3 weeks.
Yeah. And then they're off for a bit, then they probably start filming again.
Yeah.
And then they edit it all and get it all together, then they air it again in spring or whatever, right?
Yeah, it's April every year.
It's like some crazy amount of weeks between seasons. It's like, it's
Did you
painful.
buy the Blu-ray set?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
I don't even have season 3 Blu-ray yet.
I've bought every Blu-ray set. Wait, is there...
You have
Except
the
for
now?
last season's, I guess. No, I don't have last season's.
I would just say to hold off now because that inevitable box set is going to
Yeah,
be...
but I already have the
I'm
first
probably going to be the
three.
kind of person that buys every season and then
Yeah.
the box set.
I already have all 3 first HBO like Blu-rays in box sets, right? The first 3 seasons.
Yeah,
I need to... At this point now, it's like... might as
exactly.
well just
You're
continue.
committed. You can't
Yeah.
just stop.
I don't like... You know what? We talked about this... I don't know if we talked about this on the show before, but I really don't like that they changed the color of the box because it was like a grayish, greenish color for the
Yeah,
first 2
it's
seasons,
very
and then
dark.
they went to
That's
white.
white.
Yeah, I'm like, what the shit is that?
Yeah, but Julian,
That doesn't look good on the box.
imagine like so maybe I don't know what color is season 4's DVD does anybody or Blu-ray
I don't know.
whatever. Maybe if you have them all, it'll be some cool sort of pattern. It'll look better.
Yes, but I don't know, man.
It would happen.
That's all you can hold off for. That's all you can hold out.
Yeah,
hope
well,
for.
the
First one was
sleeve
so
kinda
good.
sucks.
It was Ned on it, right?
On the throne, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And then after that was like Shadows of Dragons and like the crown's kind of cool. But like I thought it could be way cooler art with
Well,
more
the
characters on it.
second season.
Like Star Wars posters.
But I think they wanted to be very minimalist with those,
Yeah.
and then because there's a lot of
That's
content on the
just a
inside.
stylist thing, yeah.
If
The
you
second
even-
and third had like multiple versions where you could have like the Lannister or like the different like houses were on the cover. Like there's multiple versions. I would prefer just having one version of every one of them, and they all look the same, with different variations, and then at the end you have a very a neat set.
And I'd prefer to have my video game collections, all the games in one disc and all.
Yeah, and you also prefer not to have any red or orange different colored spines on any of the games.
Yeah.
That's very
Yeah,
important.
we can all understand that. It looks ridiculous.
Mario games when they give them red cases.
Yeah, except for that. That's loud. Anyway, so a couple more stories. We got another motion poster for the upcoming Daredevil Netflix series. That's out in just a couple weeks, I guess, hey?
Yeah.
And it's teased his red suit. So it looks like we'll be getting the iconic red outfit probably towards the end of the first season. But we'll
So I
still
think
get it.
to that.
Yeah.
But that's still pretty awesome. Like if you look at it, it's like here's like it's what's the actual character's name?
Matt Murdock.
Matt Murdock standing with his cane, right? And if you in the reflection of like a puddle is like him in like the red suit, but it's kind of like it's very faint.
And make out shit.
Yeah.
But like,
Anyway.
how different is it going to be from Ben Affleck's? You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
gonna be different. I think what they talked
that
about.
leather makes so much sense, though. I like that
It looks
dark
cool.
red leather. All they got to do is change the headpiece. You know what I mean?
So yeah, well, I mean, you need the horns, right? Like that's kind of
No, the horns are going to be there, but Ben Affleck's headpiece kind of didn't go below his ears. You know what I mean? Like they just hit his earlobes and went to the back of his head.
Mhm.
They need to do the full on like Batman, where like you just see the mouth and the bit
Well,
of.
they do call him Red Batman, right? I think they made that joke in the comics before. I don't know, like what they talked about. So,
They definitely did not.
no, actually, they actually have made that joke in the comics.
There's no way they have. Those are
I
two different
guarantee.
universes.
I
They
guarantee you they
have-
have made that joke.
90s and shit.
Yeah, but nobody in the comics is going to call him Red Batman.
No,
because
Dan. In the Marvel book, a kid is
Like,
like.
Batman is a comic book.
maybe.
Yeah. So in the comics,
And in DC,
Daredevil shows
Marvel
up.
heroes are Marvel heroes.
Yeah. So like in the comic book, in a Marvel book, Daredevil shows up and he's like there's this kid. He's like, wow, Red Batman. In like it's actually written on the page. I thought it was really cool. It's silly to pretend like that the other doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like It is kind of weird at the same time. Anyway, it's just a few weeks away. It's pretty exciting. I think the showrunner, the guy from Spartacus, DeKnight, said how the evolution of his suit makes sense because it's more of like a uniform than it is like your red spandex. So it's gonna be more like armor and like protection as he gets beat up and needs more protection. But it will be red and will have the look, which is cool. It makes sense in the context that they're setting up a very grounded world. Finally, last two stories. The CBS Supergirl show will be reusing the same Daily Planet set from the Lewis and Clark show in 1993. It's not clear if that same set will be.
I don't remember that set.
Well, I know. I mean, neither can I. But
I watched a lot when I was a kid.
anyway, they're not sure if that's gonna actually.
I really like. Though.
Tell us.
Central City Police Department.
In the Flash?
Yeah.
It looks like a real police
That
department.
like gold, like plaque in the back that says like justice or something for all, whatever.
Yeah, there's like
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Does it actually say
Gotham,
justice for all?
PD, that whole set there, like that, like the
I
dark
haven't been
brown.
watching
Yeah,
Gotham.
watched it.
that's
It's
an
nice.
nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, they never said it's not clear if it'll be used as the Daily Planet set again or they'll just reuse it for some other set. But it's cool that they're reusing it just because like playing homage, right?
Like, where is this set? Like locked up on a
That's
studio?
what I thought. That's what my first thought was
All this time.
Dusty. Like that's so cool.
like they don't throw out anything. They just like
Think of like the Fortress of Solitude from Superman 1 or something.
it's in there.
Just
Someone
sitting-
has it.
It's like an
Warehouse.
imprint of Marlon Brando's face. Like, that. Like, how sick is that?
I mean, again, that's the collector in you that's speaking, right?
Well, it's something every movie that's ever been made, that shit
That's
somewhere.
just the nerd in. That's just the nerd in me.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and like you go to the crystals and Christopher Reeve's fingerprints are on them. Like that's
Like I know, like a lot of sets are probably taken down and stuff,
Oh,
but like
yeah.
in terms of props, that shit's everywhere. You know?
yeah. Sets they keep a lot. Like I think X-Men they kept a lot of sets.
Yeah.
Well, they had to rebuild Cerebro again, though, as far as I know, for the new movies.
Oh, maybe, but most likely it was mostly CG.
Anyway, so big news for fans of The Flash. That's me. An
Did you watch the last episode? Did you
Oh my god.
Which one? 15? Yeah.
Holy fuck!
Yeah, I'm all caught up.
You're all caught up? This is the
On
best
both-
day. We're all
yeah.
caught up. Perfect. We can actually finally talk about this. This is great. As executive producer, Andrew Kreisberg has teased an adaptation of Flashpoint. Quote, there's a fairly big Flash storyline from the comics that we're going to tackle in the future, which isn't very clear that, it could be anything, but all signs point to Flashpoint when you consider the direction of the show. They're talking about time travel. They're talking about the Reverse Flash. His mother's death is playing a huge part. That is like 3 key ingredients for a Flashpoint adaptation.
A big part of Flashpoint was all the other characters too.
Yeah,
like,
but so is part of every other thing.
and stuff.
Yeah, but it was a throwback to when his mom died, and like you guys haven't read Flash Rebirth, but that's
No.
Jeff Johns did that before Green Lantern Rebirth,
Yeah.
and he had the whole story with the Reverse Flash, how he went back in time and killed his mom, but he wasn't really going to kill his mom, and Barry was there to try to save it, like all this parallel shit that needs to
Yeah.
happen for everything to exist, and they're doing it in the show.
Super cool. Yeah.
How crazy is okay?
I gotta bore you though that book comic.
So spoilers for episode 15, I think, of season
Yeah.
1 of The Flash, starting now. Time travel. They've kind of been teasing it for a while. He's actually done it now, which is this episode that's going to air tonight. It's actually already aired. We haven't watched it yet. Is going to be insane. I want to see how they play with it. Like they're obviously not going to show the same scenes over and over again, right? But it does change things a lot. The fact if he can go so fast that he can go back in time, or I guess you can't go back and you can't go forward in time, right? Is that the idea? You can only go back.
No, he can do both.
you can do both, and that's what the Reverse Flash wants Barry to.
He wants to be able to go forward. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Forward,
Yeah.
to where he's from, when he's from.
But we need to understand why did he go back in the past to try to kill Barry, and now he's trying to keep Barry alive and strengthen Barry
Because
to
he
make
needs the
him
Speed
there.
Force.
Does he do that to go back there because then he has to go back in time and then kill Barry so that he can be the only Flash? That's
I think
what
something happens in his timeline, but he needs the Flash's power. He needs the Flash to come up into his timeline in order to reverse time from that point or something.
That seems way complicated.
The Reverse Flash got lost in time, and now he's back. But at some point, he does get Barry to go back in time. No, to the future. But then they both go back in time because the Reverse Flash needs to go back in time to just kill Barry off because the Reverse Flash has harnessed the power.
No,
of
but you
You think
can't.
he's weaker?
go back
But you
into
can't kill
something-
off Barry.
it.
Yeah, because
Because
Flash
that-
does something that causes loss for the Reverse Flash in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
But the Reverse Flash can't kill Barry because the Reverse Flash needs the Speed Force to exist.
Yeah,
right?
but in the future, once he gets the the Speed Force will come into play. I think
they've already mentioned it. They've already said
Yeah,
they've
Instead
said
of,
the
like,
word
like,
Speed Force.
more importantly, because in Flash Rebirth, the spoilers is that Barry Allen is.
I think
Speed
you did
Force.
let me. I read the first couple issues or something like that.
No, I got the whole trade paperback.
But
So Barry Allen, by him becoming the Flash, by him getting that accident or whatever, and the Reverse Flash doing that to him, that creates the Speed Force, and
Yeah.
Barry is the Speed Force.
Yeah.
That's
so
what
the Speed Force can't exist unless it's like a paradox.
Yeah,
So unless
yeah.
the Reverse Flash comes back and kills his mom.
Yeah, well,
something like that. Yeah.
can't have a
It's-
good time travel story without a paradox.
That's true, I guess. I mean,
Great.
I think what they've said is that when the Reverse Flash came back to stop the Reverse Flash from killing his mom, he got stuck. His mom died anyway, and then he got stuck in the past. And that's
Yeah.
why he was there for that whole length of time while
Yeah.
Barry was growing up.
And yeah, he wasn't there to kill his mom. He was there to kill Barry because he doesn't need Barry anymore because he's
Yeah.
already got the power to stay back into the future or whatever. I was so
There has to be more behind it, though. He has
there
to
is
want
no,
to
there is more, but like I was so confused for the longest time because I thought Eddie Thawne
Mhm.
was going to be Reverse Flash.
Yeah.
Like, how are they going to play this? And then when he said Distant Reality, I was like, yes, this is straight out of the comic book.
Yeah.
That's the
because
coolest thing.
He's from like I don't.
He said his name was Eobard Thawne.
It's far.
It's
in the
something.
future.
Yeah, it's
That's
far.
why his name is Eobard Thawne. Like,
Eobard, yeah.
because it's just
Oh, weird name.
futuristic name.
That's not. I mean, it's not future. What's futuristic? I mean, Eobard
Well,
is
no,
not
it's
necessarily.
contemporary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not- yeah.
Either way, it's like
And how about that casting of Dr. Wells, like that guy?
Yeah.
Have you
so
seen him in
good.
anything except for what that show Ed or whatever back in
I
the
know.
day, and he was just a good like fun-loving guy, or whatever. And now he just plays a perfect.
He's doing a
Villainous
great
role.
job.
the point. Like, I don't know who tweeted this. One of the IGN
Cisco.
guys or whatever.
Well, he's going to be alive now because he went back in time.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
That's
So-
I was really sad, and then I was really happy at the end.
So Cisco, yeah, as you know, that Cisco Ramon in the comic books is Vibe, the
Vibe.
superhero, right? I don't know who it was. It was one of the guys I follow on Twitter. One of the IGN guys, I think, was saying how he hasn't been so excited to watch a television show since The Flash, where he's like, and I'm totally on board with that. I feel like it's exactly the same. When I watch The Flash, I get physically excited. I'm like, this is like, I'm like watching the coolest shit. Like this when like
and that's
big.
why I like it more than Arrow. Even though I think Arrow is a better show because it's just a bit darker and they've had 2 seasons already.
Yeah.
But to me, I told Dan earlier, like Flash is just newer to me and it's never been done. And Flash is one of the main Justice League
Well,
guys.
never even that.
And
but
like what you were saying before, Flash is actual superheroes, and it's a
Yeah,
superhero show done right.
Yeah.
Whereas Green Arrow is a vigilante. Like,
Yeah.
He's the Batman, and then Flash is the Superman of their
Exactly.
universe of their
and it's
creation.
like and it's the point where when they do something really awesome, like my favorite scene so far this year is the scene where he saves people off the train while it's derailing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Absolutely, like it doesn't look bad. It looks good. They've done the Flash on television and they made it look awesome.
Even
And the
that
point-
scene where he's training with that missile and he grabs the missile and does like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
thing. It looked like it could have been in a Flash movie or something,
Yeah.
right? Like
And it's like no way in the world would I have thought this would have happened like 5 years ago. Like even 5 years ago, which wasn't even that long. We were still getting Marvel movies 5 years ago, and I'm like, we have a Flash television show with Green Arrow in the same universe, and they're gonna add more. Like, Dan, what did you think of like how they treated what's it called, Firestorm?
Well, it was really cool, actually. Yeah, they did that well.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand. Well, you didn't know that Professor Stein was a character until later on, until
Yeah.
the episode that he was needed for. But no, they did it properly.
yeah, and then they harness the power like that's and they're going away now, which is kind of cool just to get him away from the show for a bit, but to figure more stuff out.
It's so cool how they have their rosters are just building up,
Yeah.
like slowly but surely.
And it's like these low level characters that aren't super low level to DC fanboys.
Exactly, that's why it's rewarding for us,
Yeah.
right?
And like we know Firestorm, but we've never had
the
them.
Atom.
Like, yeah, we've never had them like explode like they are now in this TV show, and it's like this is awesome. They'll
And like
put it-
how and like the casting is so good. Like you can't like they've done such a good job. I don't love I don't love the Barry Allen. I don't like who they have. I don't love who they have cast as Barry Allen. I think there's better
Yeah.
Barry Allens out there, but he
Oh.
definitely does not do a bad
He's
job.
grown on me for sure.
He's doing a good job, Mike.
I love that they got like a very like established actor. His dad or his stepdad, I guess. What would you call his adopted father? I don't know. He's from like
the
yeah, from Law and Order. He did.
Yeah.
He
He's
was
great.
on Law and Order for like 10
Yeah.
years, and he knows how to do, like, he really grounds that universe a lot.
He has to.
Yeah, he's great.
And and you said, like you mentioned, Professor, like the professor's really great. Cisco and the chick, what's her name?
Oh shit.
Whatever, Killer Frost.
Not really necessary, but like whatever.
I mean, but none of them. There's no bad acting. I'm getting from it.
Cisco's your comedic relief, and he plays that smart, intelligent, like with his rambles.
Well, not only that, he's like very much like he plays the role of the fanboy that we all are watching the show, right? He says the stuff that we would say if we were there.
Yeah,
like,
but then he backs it up with like these crazy, like technological talks that like we couldn't even pronounce those words.
Well, I mean, if you had practice, we probably could have.
Yeah.
I think that kind of, without even knowing it, we kind of went into what we were watching, and the first thing on my watching thing was The Flash. It's getting better every week. I can't wait. I mean, when I'm done recording this, I'm probably going to watch the Jets game because they're in the middle of a playoff push. It's very important. They're playing Vancouver right now. 1-0. Yeah, that's what I heard. 1-0 over Vancouver. That's huge. So I'm going to go do that, and then I'm going to watch The Flash. Because
must be nice. You can stay up all hours of the night.
Yep, and then I'm gonna go wake up in the morning, and I'm gonna go for a sail, and then I'm gonna go to work. But point is, I don't even care. I mean, I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think it's gotten way better now. But it's on the same day as The Flash, and the only thing I want to watch on Tuesdays is The Flash. That's it. I'll watch both, but really, if I had to pick one, it would be The Flash.
What are
right?
with these random breaks though? Like I don't get it.
So there's no more breaks till the end of the season.
But what was with the deal with these random breaks?
It's just it's what network television does. They do it for like Sweeps Week, where they put their main shows on break while they introduce new ones that they're premiering, and like there's sometimes they need more time to finish an episode. It's like it's very rare.
So are like still basically shooting it while the season.
Yeah, that does happen.
Or like Game of Thrones, they basically shoot the whole thing, right?
Like, no, it's completely done by the time Game of Thrones premieres. A lot of
that's
Netflix
crazy.
shows
They
are
keep
still
that shit on
filming.
lockdown too. Like spoilers when But I think Obama one time asked for like I don't think he got it, but like he wanted the whole season or something.
Yeah.
Like he probably got it. Like you never know, right?
He probably did. He's the president. What else have you guys been watching? Other than The Flash and Arrow, Dan, is that great that you're caught up? We can finally talk about it now. I mean, tiptoeing around spoilers.
I'll be catching up on Arrow soon too. I'm slowly catching up.
Good.
But I'm mostly watching Walking Dead, which you guys don't watch. But
I've heard it got really good this season.
Wait, since when does Daniel not watch The Walking Dead? He's so into it.
Look, man, I didn't care.
Everyone falls off at some point, man. They're in fifth season.
The last couple seasons were just like whatever to me, and I don't care anymore. But I've heard that this season it gets much better.
You just gotta think about that first episode and
Yeah, the pilot got me for sure.
And then even that first season, and then Shane, and then like where they're going, and what's actually psychologically happening to.
That's the thing, but like you ran out of people to care about, and they're introducing a bunch of new people and new storylines that I just don't care as much.
Some of them you don't, but some of them you do definitely. Michonne's a big one. Like she's badass. But yeah, this last episode came to a halt when he's kind of losing it right now.
Yeah.
I can't
how
say
could you not?
else.
Yeah.
But,
you guys think it's weird that the only episode of The Walking Dead I've ever seen is the last episode of the first season?
Well, that's dumb.
Well, that's just the only one.
It's only 6 episodes. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah, the first season is well worth it. You don't even have to continue for that.
But it's funny that knowing that that's the only episode I've seen, I've also read a lot about Walking Dead, and the creators of the show wish that episode was different. They wish it wasn't like it was, and they didn't talk about they didn't go to the what's it called, like to Atlanta. They wish they didn't do all that stuff.
The GDC or the CDC.
And they didn't explore any of the actual what's actually happening. They wish they hadn't done any of that. I'm like, that's the only cool thing that I thought was happening in that episode. So I'm like, oh, well, that's not good.
Look at the end of the episode.
Well, you don't. It doesn't actually reveal anything. He just whispers something in Rick's ear, and then you find out that it's like everybody's.
Yeah, that's just a huge cliffhanger to keep everyone going on. Like,
but also, they didn't know it would become what it is now, right? So they were planning the show differently.
They had, I think at the time, they had like 80 comic book issues of just. Mm-hmm. And from the outset, he wanted to make a comic book where you are just constantly with one guy and his people, or whatever, his kids and whatnot, and you just never leave him. Like he wants to. It's not like this definitive beginning, middle, and end. Mm-hmm. You're always with him. Always
you can pick it up and leave.
Whatever, You know what I mean? Like because that's never really been done before, where guys never like died or anything. Like he could die at any moment, basically, but like he's not. Mm-hmm. But it's just cool to always follow through.
I thought the idea was that the series was that anyone could die, and that there is no.
No, that's absolutely true. There's a lot of fan favorites and characters that do die.
Mhm.
But
So why can't Rick? I guess is it Rick, right? Why can't Rick die?
No, the comic book character creator. What's his name?
Yeah.
Right? His
I don't
name.
know.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, the point is
He
continue.
said
Oh,
in
you're
many
killing
interviews
me.
from the get-go, he set out to create a comic book where you Robert Kirkman, where you
Jesus.
are following the main character for a very long time through an apocalypse, basically, right? And that's what they're doing in the show. But he faces a lot of danger, and a lot of people around him die, and he's that character who's the leader, and every death he takes to heart. You know what I mean? Like a piece of his humanity dies every time someone in his camp dies.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I'm
That's
still
what
not
I'm always gonna watch Walking Dead. I just think it's too.
too
I don't know.
engrossing.
It's too important. Engrossing is a good word. Just not to catch up with. Like I just feel like I'm out of the loop if I don't watch that show.
I do get that feeling now because there are a bunch of people I talk to that always reference.
And when you think about its heyday, like when it was first on, like it was awesome.
I don't know. It just got to the point like they have the whole like the really gross moment every episode where there's one super gross zombie, and like the zombies don't really scare you anymore, which is what happens in the comics. But then the villains that they're introducing, meh.
Yeah, no, the governor was a big turnoff, I think, for a lot of people. But
Or even those people at whatever Haven or whatever it's called, or
cannibals?
no, them, yeah.
That's later on. You haven't been up to that point.
Well, I watched the first 2 episodes of this season.
Oh, the cannibals I thought were pretty fun.
They're cool now that they're hunting them and stuff. But
Anyways,
Anyway. Just kidding. You guys are talking about it, I'm like, I don't care about this.
other than that, I mean, I watched the Community.
Yeah, I was gonna say Community season. I've watched the first 3 episodes. You've only seen the first 2.
Yeah.
I really like them. I really like
They were classic.
No, I really like the what's her name? The new character they introduced. I can't remember the actor's name.
Shirley, Frankie.
Frankie, yeah, White Shirley. I love the the spin-off Shirley thing that they did at the end of the first episode, right? Like the doctor and the baker or whatever, or whatever it's called.
No, he's a private detective, and
the detective and the baker, and just like the rip on CBS for that, and like all that stuff is so good, and it feels so classic. Community. I don't know if you guys knew this. You know how they start the first episode with like the cave in, and they have like add those pillars into like the into the sets or whatever. So the reason that they did that whole story was because when they moved sets, when they left, who were they with, CBS before?
NBC.
NBC, sorry. And they went to Yahoo, they had to move the set, and the place that they were in was in a basement, and they actually had these pillars, and they couldn't get rid of them. So they had to come up with a reason why there'd be pillars in the middle of the
awesome.
new pillars in the middle of the Greendale campus. I love that they've done like more outdoor shoots. Apparently they hadn't done outdoor shoots in the last 2 seasons. They weren't allowed, which is weird. It was all soundstage.
Really?
Yeah, and then so there's that great scene where Shirley steals that kid's like big wheel, or not Shirley, Britta. Anyway, the show feels right back on point. The last one I thought was really good. Some people don't like it as much, but again, right on board with it. Jeremy doesn't care about the Community, so we'll move on. Unless Danny, you want to say anything else?
But it's fine.
Well, I mean, even season 5 felt like classic Community as well. Like I don't know. They're doing a good job, and I want to keep it going.
I really like the new cast. The new additions to the cast. I don't know what happened to the old guy from last season. Was there a reason he's not around this season? The guy who drew the ducks.
from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. They haven't.
There's no explanation for that one. Okay.
I think they will reference him at some point. They have
probably.
It's like they reference Professor Duncan. You know, he's not really in it anymore.
Did they reference him already?
Yeah, in one of the I can't remember which episode it was, but they must have been the first one because Abed was like cleaning up. It was like a montage of him.
Oh yeah.
And they were wiping down a sign that said Professor Duncan.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean he's a little bit busy these days with his like the weekly show and stuff.
Which is also really awesome. You should watch it.
Yeah, I mean,
he goes on these really cool tirades.
It's less of a commitment than the Daily Show, which I like because the Daily Show is fucking daily.
I still watch the Daily Show every episode.
I follow him on Facebook, and what I love about the Daily Show on Facebook is that they pull out clips, and I just want to watch just clips, and I don't need to see the whole episode, and I see the funny parts, and that is just fine for me. He had Will Ferrell on the other day, and I watched the interview with him. I thought that was really funny. When he was just telling him, like, what I really appreciate about you is that you know when you've reached the end and it just doesn't work. You've been creating crap and you realize it, and that's really good for you.
No, it's Will Ferrell talking to Jon Stewart.
I know, but is he making?
No, he's talking because Jon Stewart's leaving the Daily Show.
No, I know, but is he also mirroring what Will Ferrell's doing by making all these crappy movies too, or no?
No, I don't think so. He's kind of not really. He doesn't seem like it, but either way, it's just
you're gonna cut your losses.
He's like, you should probably leave. It's like, I probably am gonna leave, and then I'm not sure exactly when. It's like, no, I mean, you should leave. Like, not the end of this week, but like for sure next week. You should just get out of here.
It's pretty good.
And he's wearing a shirt with all Zach Galifianakis
it's so weird
on it. That's it. It's really weird, and it's honestly one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time. But speaking of funny,
Adam Sandler and Bob Parker, is that what it is?
Bob Barker, yes.
Bob Barker.
Yes.
Oh, man, I'll pull it up. Yeah.
So good. Where it's like
it's probably better than the
original.
The original fight in the movie.
It
does. Like, that's classic Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I know, and his
fucking humor for his movies, man.
Yeah, his super loud yelling and like his just over the top, just like.
Why not make a Happy Gilmore movie now where he's like old and rehashed and he's trying to like break back in or something? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Obviously, that kind of goes against everything we say about him. Like,
but I mean, still though, he's doing Netflix movies now, right? So maybe he can do that. Powers. Do you guys know about the Powers show that they're doing on PSN?
I did. I haven't watched it yet. It's free though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's free if you're a PSN subscriber. I watched the first episode. It's got Shoro Copley is his name. The guy. He's in all like the District 9 and all those movies.
18.
Yeah. Anyway, he's the main. What did you say? 18?
Yeah, he's in the 18.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Anyway, so he's the main character, and the show definitely has a. I get the premise is that you're a cop in this world where there's superpowers, and people have superpowers, and he's working for this superpowers division of the police force. Anyway, it definitely has like a low budget feel to it. I'm still not quite. I wasn't sold on the first episode. Maybe I should give the next couple. What
I hear is that the CG sucks or something like that.
The CG is not good, and that's what I mean by the low budget feel. I mean, Shoro Copley's a good actor. He's putting on this. He's South African, right? And he's putting on an American accent, and you hear the South African come through a lot, like more than it should. In for instance, with like Hugh Jackman when he does his American accent, I had no idea that he was Australian forever. Like I had no idea.
I do.
I mean, I know now, obviously. But for a long time.
People don't know Powers is based on a comic book written by Ed Brubaker, isn't it not?
I don't know if it's Brubaker. I don't think it's Brubaker, but it is by one of the big name comic book guys.
It's a big name comic book, yeah.
It's weird because by no act of my own, but just by pure coincidence, I've just read the first volume of Gotham Central, which is by Ed Brubaker.
Yeah.
And that's all about like the police force in Gotham, dealing with like Batman and stuff. Amazing comic book, right? And so maybe I just have like a different tone in mind when I come to this show. But yeah, like that the CG is kind of weak, the acting, maybe not Shoro Copley's itself, but like a lot of the supporting acting is poor to average, I'd say at best, and. I mean, I'm going to give it a couple more episodes a shot just because it is based on a comic book and the premise is cool, but it's rough. I'll just put it that way.
Gotta give it up to 5 or 6 episodes. That's the rule.
Is that the rule?
Well, that's
I think there's only 7 or 10 episodes in the first season. So
we'll give it 5.
Yeah. All right. I'll give it another shot. I'll report back. And I watched The Hangover Part 3 for the first time last night. And I didn't hate it. It wasn't. It's hard to say if it was better than 2. It's about the same level as 2. it really tied in. It kind of like completed the circle. It really referenced a lot of stuff from the first movie, but not in the same way. Whereas 2 was kind of more of like a ripoff. It was like the same movie told in a different place. Instead of LA or sort of Vegas, it was Bangkok. This was new jokes, but referencing the old jokes, which I appreciated. It wasn't that it was the same characters we really like, with Ed Helms and Zach Galifianakis, and who's the other guy I'm missing? Bradley Cooper. Like them, it's really just all three movies have been.
Just saying, watched it recently.
Oh,
yeah. And so what we've been watching, and it just how all three movies have really been about them three, and really not about any of the other characters. Like Chow to some degree, and he's brought in more in this movie as well. There's very few.
After the credit scene.
Yes, I did. yes, I did, and that's probably the funniest moment in the entire movie, which is a callback to the very first movie, which is great.
I still think the funniest moment was in the second movie, though, when the guy finds out he was like raped by that stripper or something. That'd be the funniest moment. I don't like the second movie as much. It's a bit darker and like weirder.
Yeah,
but I like it because it didn't try to really recreate everything exactly.
It did almost though. That's why I don't like it.
I thought it didn't.
It's like a beat for beat retell.
The third one where it references them and plays homage to them, like it did it in a great way.
Yeah.
But I still think the second, it kind of took them further, which I guess people didn't like because they're too similar but further.
Well, it fell into that trap where it was a comedy sequel trying to retell the same jokes but just take it to the next level, which isn't necessarily funnier. It's just weirder, like you said.
But it was weirder because they were in a weird place. They were in
Bangkok, yeah.
Which is a very weird place to be. And it was like, it didn't have a comedic setting, you know what I mean? It wasn't Vegas, it wasn't...
Well, like, Jeremy, like, you're right, when you mentioned, like, that's the funniest scene. In the third movie, they reference it, and he's like, oh, man, the worst part was that tattoo, right? He's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, the ink. That was the... You got tested, right? He's like, yeah, I got tested for the ink.
Yeah, I remember, I think we all went to theaters and watched that movie, right? And like, we were
3?
No, the second one.
The second one, yeah.
I think we were just laughing our asses off at that.
But the first one there's nothing like that first one.
Yeah,
like,
we fucked up.
We were at the right age, at the right like setting in our lives to watch a movie like that. It was like,
where we're just stupid young and we just got drunk. And go,
yeah, exactly. And then there's a movie about them getting drunk and then not knowing what happened. It's like it was like it started so well. Like, the whole premise was great. I mean, the idea that you would do the same premise again with the same people. I mean, they even do it again with the third one. It's like, really? Is the same guy? It's like, the guy who plays...
and they make it full circle, though, because they get the first guy who roofied...
Yeah.
What was that? Omar Epps or some shit like that? Like,
yeah, and it's... What's his name, though? I'm trying to think of, like, the actual actor, or the character's name, who is the guy who who's missing in the first one, right?
Like...
Doug.
Doug.
And it's like, it's great because it's like, they just keep referencing that he's always the one who keeps getting like screwed over. He's like, yo, you better hurry up because I'm just killing Dougs today, right? Because he kills the other Doug in the third one, and not the spoilers for the third fucking movie of Hangover, but I liked it. I didn't like it.
Definitely did it right. They referenced everything. They made fun of everything of what they'd done before.
Yeah.
It came full circle. So it was a perfect ending for that. And they went back to Vegas. Like, yeah, just like full circle is the main thing. Like it just, it really capped it off pretty well.
And I think we can all agree that the first one is the best of all of them. So
yeah.
All right. Well, unless you guys have anything you want to add.
I bought Bloodborne. I barely touched
Why do you
it.
buy these games? Like,
I get caught up in the hype. I watch a trailer and they make me buy it.
I watched one trailer for the first time yesterday and I thought it looked amazing.
It looks really cool. And I played Demon Souls, I think it was, and I like the fact that they're old school video games. They're punishing. You have to be good at video games to play it, and it's a very gamer game. It's not a movie. And
this one has more like polish. It feels to it like that mainstream polish.
Yeah.
Like that God of War polish where Demon Souls and Dark Souls look very like a PC game. Like it's very
they were clunky.
robotic and clunky. Yeah. So, and then I saw the trailer for Bloodborne. I saw the giant enemy.
Yeah.
And the motions and the swinging of his axe and stuff. Like, this looks fucking
It's cool.
sick.
It's fun. It's the only complaint I have, and again, I barely touched it, so it doesn't really count. But I have no idea what or why I'm doing it. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm just there.
Today. You bought it today? Or
Yeah,
last
I bought
night?
it today.
So I'll probably just board off you and save $70 then.
Usually, I can report back on that too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
please
I
do.
should have thought about that. But...
I actually do want to know more about that though, for real.
Yeah, I know. I will. I'll play it.
Jeremy, you playing anything? Watching anything we haven't seen in a while?
Let me think for a sec. I rewatched, or I caught back up with Mad Men, so I'm on season 6.
How many seasons are there?
I think there's another one coming up. Might be the final one. And in the storyline in that season, they're kind of transitioning to the 70s. So like a lot of cool things have happened, like the assassination of
JFK.
Of Kennedy and stuff. Like it's pretty cool. Like I'm digging it again. Like it's hard to get into because it is
so many seasons, man.
It's just a lot of seasons, very slow stuff, but it's so smart. So I'm watching that and Walking Dead, obviously, and playing Smash every now and then. Just picked up Mario Party 10.
Hey, how's that?
I played that. I just played one round with my girlfriend for a bit. It's good. I think it's going to be really fun with a lot of people.
Yeah, we gotta
it's
have
gonna
a
be. It's like because all you do is basically fuck people over all the time.
It's a
right?
party
Like,
game. It's just perfect for that.
And then so I'm excited to play that. Bought some more amiibos for it. I just got a soundtrack from Smash Bros. that special edition soundtrack.
Yeah.
Games. Probably won't open it though because it's.
I don't understand you.
It has 36 songs from 3DS, 36 songs from Wii U.
So then you won't open it. That makes sense.
Am I going to listen to these songs?
What's the point of keeping it in the wrapper?
I don't know if I want to sell it.
No, that's a good point. Are you going to listen to them? Then why even own it?
It's not my choice. They send it to you no matter what. If you register both games, they send
What
it
if
to you.
there's probably some cool music? You might as well listen to it.
All the music is on the Wii. Like, you know, when you go through the music section, you can listen to everything you want.
Okay.
Like, say, I can pop it into my CD player and I'm playing video games and I want to listen to this music, sure, but I can also download it for free. So I just like that I have the case and it's like a special edition. It probably has a number wrong, but whatever. And the Mewtwo DLC will probably be coming shortly because that was a story too.
Yeah, that's coming right away.
I'm saying it's coming soon. And that's about it.
Okay, well then we can wrap up the old show. No, we'll make it work.
Try to short it somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try. I mean, last one I wasn't able to, but this one I'll make an effort. You know.
This one you can't. Every piece
No,
is
there's
pretty good.
a couple pieces though you could split up.
Yeah. But I'm saying for the full show, we have to do something to stop this from happening.
Well, the only alternative is doing it every week then. Because most of these stories we're
right.
talking about.
You're absolutely right.
He's absolutely right. Find us on Twitter at Tower Babblecast.
Makes sense because, like I said before,
Facebook.com/Tower of Babblecast. YouTube.com/Tower Babblecast.
Computer.
We're also on Instagram, Tower Babble Podcast. Send us questions, concerns, comments. If you want to tell Daniel he's wrong about his Jennifer Lawrence thing, for instance, you can do that by saying
You're the one. You're all going to be wrong.
We have a million hits now.
you could send that to our email address at it's towerbabblepodcast@gmail.com, and remember that's BABBLE, not the biblical version of Babel. So
Because we're battling.
Yes, exactly.
It's
like we're in a tower. You can imagine us in a tower.
It's like podcast is about talking. It's about babbling. That's
exactly. Interesting. It's like we put some thought into the name of this podcast before we did it, and it's reference to that famous Justice League comic book that we all like, and the movie Justice League. Which one? Doom. Right. Thank you.
And the movie starring Brad Pitt called Babble.
You know what? I don't know if you consider that one, but oh no, but Daniel brought up that moment in the Justice League Doom. Now that Daniel brought up that movie,
Yeah.
I'm like, I just think of that.
He's
scene.
under attack. By who?
By who?
Me. Love it. Oh God, honestly, we review that movie at some point in our podcasting. If you can find it, I actually cut in that that little scene into that podcast, find it, put it up, send it to
We
me.
almost have to re-edit that sequence though, so that the Batjet or whatever, the Batwing, happens directly after, and we got amplitude that or like raise up the sound of like the jets.
I feel like that. You know what? I should change the intro to our show instead of that techno song. It should just be that dialogue from that, from that movie.
Yeah.
Like maybe some other dialogue from other ones too, but mostly that one.
It's like and like Podcast Beyond, where they have that like saying, like
exactly,
a random saying or whatever. Even Joe Rogan, he has like a random saying by like
the Justice League is under attack. By whom, sir? By me. Oh, it never gets old. All right. Seriously though, we'll be back in 2 weeks ish, unless we decide to do this weekly. I don't know. That might happen. We'll keep you in touch. Tower Babble at Tower Babblecast on Twitter. Until then, we'll talk to you later.
Later on, baby.
Can you show him the Adam Sandler thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're on the post show, guys. The official Tower Babble podcast post show will be live for about maybe half an hour. I'm gonna try to pull up the.
They showed me Central logo to that. Was
Something like that for a while.
Central is upside down and backwards.
Yes.
Bob Barker. Hi, everybody. You probably have guessed Bob Barker and I haven't spoken with each other in many years.
That's right.
Not since Happy Gilmore.
But you know that providing school service for people with autism is too important.
Absolutely. So I'm hanging out here with Bob, helping him with his soup while his hip heals.
I do not need your help, man.
You told me the soup was hot, Bob. Let me help you.
I'm fine. But you are looking old.
Thanks for pointing that out.
How old are you? 60?
I think we're supposed to talk about it often.
Looking chunkier than the soup.
It's so smart already.
Without me. It's over.
Oh, that's what this is about.
If I had known that I had to toss your salad to be in another one, I would have. But Rob Schneider didn't send me the memo.
Okay. You know what? I think Price is Right is on now. We can watch that. Love the host. Funny and not crotchety and angry.
You know what else is great about it?
Tell me.
He's worked 25 years and never had to do the whoppity-doo, waka-waka-woo voice. Oh, like a desperate idiot. Couldn't be nice to you about it, huh? This soup is too hot. Now you're gonna get it, puppy. Hey, I need that. I'll get it back to you. No, it's not over yet. It's not. I'm sorry. Come back and let me finish your ass. Oh no! Rule number 1 in my book.
In this game, Daniel Sedin from below the goal. Here's Weber, left point Edler. Back to Yannick Weber, takes a look. Keeps Henderson in front, tipped by Daniel.
Ooh, big save by Pavlik.
It's all over now. Deal with it. One of us is already 91, dummy. Huh? What? I wish I could see David Spade's face when he finds out there won't be a grown-up 3.
best last joke. He didn't actually die. They just like because the Ebola.
Yeah.
Oh, looks like they like the Sandman a little bit more. Thanks for playing, Bob.
Don't you understand? They're applauding because you're dead.
Oh, come on, Happy. What are you doing?
Look at this, man. This is so good.
All right, good. Just kick his ass.
I didn't even see this part last time. Like, that one skit is better than any movie he's released.
Well, it's not better than the original, his first two movies, but you know.
No, I know. That's what I mean. Like, like after, let's say, The Water
Little
Boy or
Nicky.
something. Yeah, even that.
Yeah, Little Nicky's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I actually like Grown Ups, so
Apparently 2 is good. I don't know.
I actually like both of them, and I like Funny People.
But it's just so funny because David Spade is never, like, his payday or whatever is only whatever Adam Sandler puts him in now.
Hey, guess
think
I was
he's-
talking about this the other day, but what's that stupid sitcom that David Spade was in when he was like working for a newspaper or like a?
It's called News Radio.
It's called what?
Shit.
Right?
It's a camera behind. Just Shoot Me.
Oh, is that what it was called?
That was for a bit, though. Whatever.
I just remember it being on syndication for like a long time.
Wasn't he on News Radio as well?
That's a pretty old fucking show, man.
I'm pretty sure
Joe
he was on
Rogan
it.
was on that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Agree on that. Like,
What was the other thing that we had to YouTube?
I don't know. Oh, the
Like, this kid, isn't that humor? Is that like? Does it remind you of like Community's humor at all, like with the angel stuff and like, or is that too? Is that too
no, that's
much?
too much.
Well, he's always over the top. What reminds me more of Community is the little quips in between, like the
Yeah.
banter.
Okay. So he's got to get together with the Russo brothers then and do a.
There's the solution right there.
Get some good writers behind your fucking movies.
The joke
you
is
know?
like, oh, you know what? You know, let's put on. I think The Price is Right is on. Like that joke is.
Yeah,
cool.
okay. That's yeah. But that David Spade one, man, when there won't be a Grown Ups 3, like, just think of David Spade's like, no. I don't think there's anything else to YouTube.
No, I don't know.
Oh,
What
this is trailers right there.
Oh, you want to watch that?
Yeah.
You don't see it. You didn't know what he was talking about when it said donkey killing and shit.
Well, I kind of get the idea, but I'd like to see it.
Just looks like a legit movie.
like it's something serious.
Like Interstellar Part 2.
Starring Adam Sandler. Oh, you know, that was a story I forgot to talk about. There was a different ending for Interstellar. I guess I missed that one.
Oh, yeah. Where his brother Nolan...
Yeah.
No, what's his brother's name?
Jonathan.
He wanted to, like, not be able to, like, go through the Tesseract or whatever, and, like, everyone died. Like,
all
his lost.
It was all his brother's idea.
Yeah, the director.
Real life video games.
Where did I?
Okay, this is exactly the drama episode.
Man's a bad guy.
Wait, what's that fat guy's name? Like,
Kevin James.
Kevin James just all of a sudden latched on to Adam Sandler, and that's all he does now. And then Paul Blart 2's coming out. Like, he was a promising, like, comedic star.
He had that good sitcom.
King of Queens.
Yeah, like, he had that, and then Adam Sandler, like, took him down, basically. But
They were always friends.
Chuck and Larry, and now Chuck and Larry, I thought that was a good Adam Sandler comedy. That was a good one.
Jessica Biel.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. We are all done.
She's hard as fuck, too, Michelle
Oh,
Monaghan.
man.
True Detective, are you
God
kidding me?
Fucking.
It's hard as fuck.
She was in MI3. Second reference to MI3 today.
I want to know what this. No, I want to know which scene you're talking about from
Oh,
MMA.
look who's in it.
Pokemon is not bad. You'll see. Professor Utani, what are you doing? Oh, talk to him.
Fuck,
Let's see.
Son.
Jeremy. Vancouver scored twice in the last 5 minutes.
What?
Vancouver scored twice in the last 5 minutes.
I know.
That's hilarious.
Good boy.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know how,
I
like,
told you it didn't look good. It just doesn't look terrible.
what the fuck? So many random trailers, eh?
The fuck is that?
What it is?
Iron Sky. There's a dude riding a T-Rex.
Yeah, he tamed it. Remember the whole argument we were getting wings and we were all pissed off that you teach your nephew or something the wrong way?
Daniel, what are you listening
Sorry.
What's that, Jim?
What is this John Jingleheimer Schmidt?
It was an ad.
Oh.
This is like Sharknado or some shit, but with you ride dinosaurs.
Awesome.
No, what's that?
It also just said something about Nazis, though.
No, Dan, no. There's the Nazis survived on the moon.
Yeah, hey, look, Sarah-
Dan, no. I've seen the preview for or a trailer for this movie before. The Nazis survived on the moon, and then they're coming back. I'm not even making this up.
Oh.
And Sarah Palin's the president. That's a big budget behind this trailer. From Alaska.
It's time. What?
Are you watching the whole movie?
No, it's just a trailer.
It's a long trailer.
So yeah, Nazis survived. They bombed the world. Sarah Palin's the president, but she has a weird gargoyle hand. They went to Antarctica and she opened up something, the Hollow Earth.
Hey, man. I don't know what to tell you.
This is ridiculous.
So there's an Earth inside the Earth. They actually put a lot of money into the CG in this.
Yeah.
And that's holding up the other Earth.
Hitler.
Okay, Hitler's riding the T-Rex.
Take it easy, Blondie. It's time.
It's the craziest image. Hitler ran a T-Rex.
The T-Rex just did Heil Hitler.
Did it actually?
Yeah, I put its one hand up.
Its short little arm?
Yeah.
Stubby arm?
Oh, I have to watch this movie.
You can buy it at Best Buy. I saw it once at Best Buy.
Iron Sky. The Coming Race. I kind of like little shitty movies like that sometimes.
Isn't there like an actor we know? There's like more than one actor we know in that movie, right?
Arnold is like Commando.
You can, yeah, but like,
Dude, have you seen The Running Man?
No.
Kid, you gotta watch that. It's pretty. You might like that more than Commando.
For like how bad it is?
Yeah, like it's fucking up there.
Well, I just saw part of a movie today with Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes, where he's like frozen in time, or like a pod, and then it comes out in the future.
Oh yeah, that one's actually pretty cool. I
I
like
only saw
that.
pieces of it, but it looks
Demolition
pretty
Man.
What? It's not
Demolition
Demolition
Man.
Man. It's not Demolition Man.
No, it's something else.
It's like
Elijah
Log
Woods-
Road or something.
Elijah Woods.
They're both in Demolition.
Anyways, there's a Arnold Schwarzenegger gets framed for murdering a bunch of women and children, but he's in a helicopter in the beginning. They order him to shoot all these people, civilians, and he's like, "No, there are innocent women and children down there. I will not do it." They make him shoot them all, and it's so funny.
No, there's innocent children down there. When I'm at the gym, I'm coming all the time.
No, you gotta watch Running Man. It's like, it's in my top 5, I think.
I still want to watch. I have a rewatch. That one that they just remade. Where they go to Mars. Total Recall.
Oh, you can skip that remake. It's pretty bad.
Oh, I've seen the remake. I want to rewatch the original.
Oh yeah, the original's great.
Get your ass to Mars.
It's an epic movie for sure.
There's a girl with 3 boobs in that movie.
Yep, there is.
So wait, does the original movie still play with that same idea of there being like it's all in his head?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's you don't know what happens at the end. You don't know if it's.
It's up to you to decide.
If it was all the recall thing,
yeah,
or it's real.
So it's up for you to decide that.
Yeah, kind of.
Cool. Well.
And I'm not sure what they did. I think it was.
No, I think they did the same thing. You don't know.
Yeah, that's why it's so cool.
That's the only reason it's cool.
Because it starts off, it's like he goes to recall because he wants to go to Mars, but in his mind he wants to go there.
Yeah.
So they sell him all this stuff. Like you can be a secret agent, you can be a superhero. Like I'll be a secret agent, and like as he's falling asleep, as he's choosing everything, then he chooses the girl he wants to save, and then when he wakes up, it's like this whole thing where they're trying to kill him.
David Spade in this movie.
Oh, is it?
In Entourage.
Oh, whatever. And then it just goes on from there, and you think, what the audience thinks is that this whole recall thing was a scam, they're just trying to kill him or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But then the end makes you think, well, wait, maybe it was the recall he paid for to be a secret agent and go through all that shit.
Yeah, that's the reason the Total Recall is so interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good Arnold movies, man.
60.
There's a lot of bad ones, but there's a lot of good ones.
She beat a girl in 16 seconds.
Yeah,
Remember, like
she destroyed
not
her.
the last one, the one before that.
Yeah.
A younger girl, like bad though, like punched her in the face a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Then she fights this new chick who's way older and like badass. She tries to do a flying knee. She moves out of the way, grabs her, throws her down, and like arm bars her. 14 seconds.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Ronda Rousey?
14 seconds.
Yeah, Ronda Rousey.
I mean, this is okay.
The girl who got
UFC's too brutal for me, man.
No one has to feel embarrassed anymore.
Mm-hmm.
She was probably like shot. Like, she's probably embarrassed for her whole life. Nope. Someone lost in 14 seconds. You're safe now. Like.
UFC's too brutal for me, man. I can't do it.
I fucking love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's so like.
Well, no, I like how they talk about honor and all this shit, but like when the chips are down and everything's going on, if someone gets a knockout, they just keep punching him in the fucking head until someone pulls them off of it.
No, they'll stop them.
But Julian, that's part of the sport because
that's not part of the sport.
Like,
they know they're knocked out.
Can I explain? It's not like boxing where you get knocked down, you can get back up, but you can get knocked. Like, it's not always a knockout, right? It's a TKO. So if the person is still able to defend themselves, why would you not?
No, that's
keep
not what I
hitting them?
mean, Dan. It's when the person's clearly like knocked out and they're on the ground and they're just still getting wailing on their head. That's
because the guy is in survival mode and he needs to win. You go in there to kill each other.
And you have to ensure, like, if he were to not do that, there's a chance the guy gets up.
No, that's not true, Dan. That's
not always,
true.
yeah.
And Julian, it's not always where they just punch him.
And
with
often,
their arms are just on the ground.
when the person's for sure, like, obviously knocked out, they often just stop.
They often stop. Yes, but you'll
I've never seen that.
But you will see a lot of highlights of that not happening because that's people like to watch that.
And that's why it's too brutal for me. Like, it's just blood sport, essentially, at that point.
No, it definitely is brutal, but like...
Oh, I don't know if this really needs to be on the podcast or not. There's a company in Australia that's developing these suits. They want to have, like, UFC, but, like, with martial arts, like, with weapons.
Jesus Christ.
With, like, swords and spears and axes.
They'll never...
Look it up. They're developing these suits that have... They're crazy patterns, so you can't actually hurt the other person. Right, but they have sensors and crap all over, so people are gonna have it would be like a video game. Each fighter will have a life bar, so different hits depending on how hard you hit and where you hit will do different type of damage.
You still have to be in shape, and no one's gonna
of course.
No one's gonna buy these suits. I feel like this.
No, he wants to make it like a new UFC, but with weapons.
I don't. That's very far off.
It's not that can't be that far off.
They're having their first fight this year. It's in Australia. It's a little preliminary thing.
And they are pretty weird.
Dana White on UFC will never be funny.
Well, it will be. It'll be its own thing.
I still think it'll catch on though. Like
Maybe
it's
not.
too gimmicky.
I don't know.
But yeah, but you'll see, like I was a huge fan of it, then I fell off. Then this new fight happened and like just really caught my attention because like it's so crazy how these two guys can go into this ring and you're basically in there to kill each other. And it's like it's just so interesting to see what they're gonna do to survive and who's gonna win. You know what I mean? And I was talking about Running Man before, but that's what that game show is. It's like a game show to the death or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, UFC. I just think it's so cool that these guys go in there and like they're the best fighter in the world, like legit.
That's the cool thing about it, because like everybody, you go in there and each man believes that he is the best fighter, like the best version of himself. You know,
and you can knock out anybody on any given day.
Yeah.
But because you won on that day, you're the champion. Like John Bones Jones, I don't know who that guy is. That guy is a dangerous man.
John the Bones Jones.
John Bones Jones. Like,
John
he's
Bones.
so sick to watch him. Man, I'm in Vegas actually when he's fighting. He's
you are?
Rumble Johnson or whatever just beat the white guy who's on the cover of UFC, the video game. Remember, there's the white guy Gustafsson.
Yeah.
And John Jones.
Of which the newest one?
Yeah. Oh, the only one there is UFC game there is. Remember, John Jones is in the red trunks, and then there's the white guy.
I have a UFC game that's just Anderson Silva on the cover.
That one's older than I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that guy got famous because of that John Jones fight. Remember, they went all 5 rounds, blood everywhere, and all that stuff. That guy fought this guy named Rumble Johnson. Rumble Johnson knocked him out, basically, like destroyed him. And he is fighting Jones now, and it's could be the greatest match ever because Jones is undefeated. So like things like that, records like that, people held, like GSP, right? He holds all these records. It's so cool to see somebody take him down finally. You know what I mean? Or to
like Silva.
Or yeah, Silva came back, fought Diaz. I paid $50 for that fight.
Yeah.
I had some friends over from work. Like it wasn't exciting because Silva wasn't like back to form per se, but like just super cool seeing him back. Seeing him come out to that song, you know, like "Ain't No Sunshine" or whatever. Like it's so cool seeing all that stuff.
Ridiculous.
And granted, I had a lot of weed cookies, so I was high watching these fights. When John, like I saw that, I ate a cookie and I got super high when the hype video comes on or whatever, where they have like this like, you know, NFL style like, you know, footage of them training slow motion and talking.
Yeah.
And then John Jones comes out to his song about like, you know, it's like an Ali song or whatever. And then he comes into the ring on all fours.
Yeah,
he walks like this, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is sick. Like he's a fucking animal climbing. Like if you think about that, like that's so scary. What if you're on the other end and this guy's fucking coming in all fours like a fucking panther, like a
Black Panther.
and
Why does he doesn't he like a panther just 'cause he's
billions of
black?
people are watching this, right? Everyone's watching this.
Yeah.
All the who's who, every sports athlete, they're watching John Jones fight this Daniel Cormier who could take him down. And then it's just brutal back and forth and just bash each other's faces in, all these clinches, and like it's just so crazy to me. So I'm back into it fully. Like
It's just crazy when you like, because I wouldn't say that I fully understand, but like there's a lot going on. You know, it's not just hitting people, and then when people get take it down, a lot of people complain about it. But there's so much going on at any given moment.
yeah, and it's not like I said, it's not just the fight; it's the hype up to it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just the
whole atmosphere.
things like that. Like when I break it down, like how he's climbing into the ring, it really like I don't know. It's just so cool to me. Like you kind of like take all that shit for granted. You just see 2 guys in a fucking ring. Like you just see them bashing each other, and like it just super called forward to bash somebody. You know what I mean? But like they're in there to survive, to get rich, to get money for their families. Like there's a lot of people in UFC fights who aren't. They come from a very poor family, right?
Sometimes
It's like NFL stars, right? That's their payday, man. They go in there to kill. So in that respect, it's crazy entertainment. You know what I mean? Like it's the ultimate form of entertainment, kind of. And then like Joe Rogan, he dissects it with all the fighters. He's seen them all fight, so he knows how one guy stands and how he punches, how he can, you know, combat like Anderson Silva with his reach and like that leg kick though he's too short and this like that stuff is like the strategy behind it that Joe Rogan discusses all the time. Like that's so cool.
and how like different people have to train different things for different fighters. It's pretty cool.
And like you got to.
And they're fun. They're fun video games too, because that actually, well, to a lesser extent, but that's part of the game. You train for different fights different ways.
And like certain matches are different. Like this guy could beat this guy on this day, but that guy can't beat that guy who beat this guy who beat him.
You should look up that Will Ferrell Daily Show thing. That's pretty funny.
I said Jimmy Fallon.
When did the whole Jimmy Fallon thing like really start off? Like when he started his show, even then, even when he first started it, it wasn't like so many clips and like stuff all the time. It like really took off in the last couple of years, where like Jimmy Fallon had like the funniest shit, and it was always just like the perfect clips, you know. Spiced goat burger with beetroot and feta relish.
So where's Colbert going? Is he going to?
Colbert's doing.
He's gonna be doing
the Late Show.
like late night. He's no longer going to be the character though. He's just going to be himself.
Apparently he was on Dan. Apparently he was on the island the other day.
Letterman.
So wait, but Craig Ferguson took over Letterman,
Yeah,
and then Colbert's taking over what Craig Ferguson did.
I guess.
No.
It's Jimmy Fallon, dude. I don't know.
Jimmy Fallon does the Tonight Show, and the guy from SNL does.
No, Letterman
Late Night.
hasn't stepped down yet, Jeremy. When Letterman steps down, Colbert's taking his spot.
That's what I'm asking, Julian.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What?
Who's taking over for Colbert?
I'm saying, where's Colbert taking over for? That's all I'm asking.
Oh yeah, for Letterman.
Okay, and where's Craig Ferguson going?
He's
Staying where he is? Because I thought he was going to take over for Letterman.
No.
Back in February, you made an announcement. That's right.
Right.
That you're going to do this show. That's right. Oh my God, you guys didn't hear about it? But I just wanted. They seem taken off guard. They do, a little bit. But I just wanted.
Remember, he was in Big Daddy. What the hell was that about?
What was that about?
Say, John, it's not working. For 17 years, you've banged your head against this guy.
17 seasons? That's ridiculous. I haven't even watched a full one.
Watch this train wreck go on. You've never found your voice. You've never found your audience. You don't know what the talking about. You don't think I know that? You can't get any guests. And I just applaud you for going, this isn't working. Yeah. You get to a point where you say, you know what? Maybe Master's broken. Maybe getting a law degree. Yeah. Maybe it's time to go to the fall. You should have gotten to that point a lot sooner. I know. But you eventually did. Yeah. And I support you with that. Now, you haven't announced when you're leaving, but don't take your time. Leave by, if not the end of this week, by next week. So you could, okay, because I just have a lot of stuff that I okay, well, I'm just saying, look, get out sooner rather than later. You're going to feel so much better. Oh, I appreciate that. I personally, I feel like it's going to free me up to work with people that other people I really want to work with. You're not good at this. Okay. Just don't know what you're doing.
What's he going to do after he retires?
He recently made a movie. I don't know. He's more into like politics and stuff like that. Also, he did say he may do stand up again, but I don't know.
He's doing a documentary, isn't he?
Yeah, it's done now.
About
About like the Middle East.
Okay.
Julian, why don't you buy Hardline?
I should have talked about that on the show, but no, you know what? Hardline didn't appeal to me as another Battlefield game.
Really? Thought it would for sure.
The single player, it's weird. The single player is what appeals to me, and then multiplayer in this one doesn't. If that makes sense. Which it's normally the flip of that in Battlefield. And normally I'm really interested in the
and that, yeah, we've talked about it before, but it's almost at the point where they need to put the single player on its own disc, or you can buy it digitally.
I agree, because I really like to play the single. It's like pretty much like a TV show, and it's like it like they even film it like that way. It's like where like previously on Battlefield Hardline, like each chapter is like its own episode, and that's really cool to me.
But it's 80.
Well, that's the other thing that came out today is the Game of Thrones Telltale.
It's been out. It's been out.
No, like the episode 3.
New episode.
What's this? A scientist guess at George R. R. Martin's progress.
Yeah, I'm looking at that too.
Out of the Winds of Winter.
Have you seen this?
Well said, Steve. Makeup artist was a magician of the movie industry.
Holy shit, Dan! There's a countdown on this. Watchers on the wall. Season 5 premieres in 18 days, 21 hours, 16 minutes, 30 seconds.
Handed down by the master practitioners of their crafts for over 5,000 years. Makeup artist's commitment to excellence is all-consuming. We would not be moving on without that.
It's so genius.
By the way, Will, you look great. Thank you. You look great too. Man, you smell really good too. That's what you're wearing? It's called Pineapple Bliss. Are you alright? My eyelashes.
Is the interview still going on?
No, this is different.
What are you watching now?
We just one time at the Oscars when Will Ferrell and Steve Carell nominated, they're showing the nominations for makeup,
For the Chronicles of Narnia.
but they themselves had like horrible makeup on.
David Roy Anderson and Lance Anderson for Cinderella Man.
This is really
Eddie
old.
Elsie and Nikki Cooley for Star Wars, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Was that the original actor from the original trilogy? Like, I've always wondered that. I never looked it up.
It was.
And the Oscar goes to Howard Berger and Tammy Lane for Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Well, any day now they'll announce Chris Pine as Green Lantern, and I'll lose my shit.
I don't think that's gonna happen, Jeremy. Don't get your hopes up.
I know, I don't think it will, but like, man, it'd be the best, man.
It'd be good. It makes
Seriously,
We already
think about
talked about that,
it. I know, but like, I'm thinking about it every now and then. Like, it just crosses my mind.
and it just makes you happy. You just put a smile on your face.
Like, adding Chris Pine to the DC roster, like it just so much. It just combats the Marvel roster, so much better. With the cast of stars they have compared to the Marvel side.
But didn't we talk about how stars don't really matter anymore?
And Ben Affleck, they're dynamic, where the light and the dark, and how they hate each other, kind of.
Mhm.
Those two actors going at it.
That'd be good.
Damn, that'd be good.
Damn.
Damn.
See Chris,
Woo!
Ezra Miller, the Flash, being like buddies. Because that Ezra Miller one is the only weird casting. Like, I just can't see that guy's the Flash, but I don't know him. I've never really seen him in anything.
We'll see what happens. That one, like, for whatever, like, Marvel, like, you have a lot of faith in them. It doesn't really matter, but DC is a huge question mark.
Yeah, but like with Henry Cavill, they struck gold. Like, he's awesome. Only question mark.
Gold.
The writers are great.
The only question marks right now are
Oh, are the writers great though?
what?
Is that the writing hasn't? I mean, with what's his name? Who's what the writer on Man of Steel?
Goyer.
Goyer. Yeah, he's not the best. Like,
Well, it was good.
And it wasn't. I don't think it was the writing that was the problem, right? It was just like it was
Insistence on
too
greediness?
sci-fi. It wasn't like the Superman movie. Like, there was a lot of Superman elements, like a lot of fighting, like, and stuff like that. But like, it was more sci-fi alien movie than it was a Superman DC Comics movie. But Batman versus Superman is going to be that comic book movie with Lex Luthor and Batman and Alfred and all that stuff, right? We're gonna get all those characters we know and love.
who's
This-
Alfred again? It's Irons. Jeremy Irons.
Irons, yeah.
Scar.
Which is pretty awesome.
Is that like he's the gritty? He'll be the gritty type of Alfred. You think probably right? Like the Earth 2.
I don't know. He has a fairly proper British accent.
Yeah, like, he'll be great, I think. Yeah, we're just gonna get we're gonna see all those characters we know and love. Like, because in Man of Steel, we didn't really see that. We just saw Lois Lane and
Mom and Pa Kent.
and Mom and Pa Kent, and like it was very sad and somber, and like this journey of Superman finding himself. So then finally got the suit. We got some good orchestrated music and some fighting, but it wasn't that comic book action movie like that.
My favorite scene in Man of Steel is the scene after which is we talked about weirdly placed. It's right after he breaks his neck. The next scene is him, and that's like that really lighthearted scene where he's talking to the general, where he like throws down, like he breaks that.
He's finally Superman, where he's just like telling them how it is. Like,
yeah, that's my favorite scene, but it's just weirdly placed.
Yeah, because that shows you what's to come. What Batman or Superman is going to be like. Like, how he carries himself and how he talks. Like that's Superman. And we forget too because he has an accent and he pulls it off pretty well.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, you don't hear his. Here's the thing. British people can do an American accent very, very well, generally. Americans cannot do a very convincing British accent.
It's because we know the Americans, though, and we know that they're faking it, I think, also.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, I guess, but, like, still, though.
It's like they just sound like Harry Potter right now or something, you know what I mean? Like
it sounds like if I could do a British accent and it sounds really terrible, you know, it's like they just don't. I mean, maybe if they had a lot of training, if you needed a British person, you would just go find a good British actor, you know?
Oh, and we didn't talk about Spider-Man being casted.
Oh, the 16-year-old.
16-year-old, which I think is a great idea.
He isn't cast yet.
But they were casting, they were looking at.
Yeah, they're looking for the age group is 16 to 18.
So one of the kids that they auditioned was.
I didn't talk about it because I try to avoid putting too many rumors in, because then it's like...
It's about all rumors. The whole Nintendo thing was like a rumor.
No, the whole Nintendo thing was confirmed. That was all real.
We speculated, though, what it's going to...
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to speculate on speculation over and over and over again.
Well, we do that all the time.
I know, but if I do that on there's so many rumors that if I put every rumor in, then we'd have a 4-hour show.
That's true.
No, because there's only one rumor you left out.
No, there's other ones I could have brought up too. I don't
like what?
I don't know. I can't think of them right now.
Exactly.
That doesn't prove anything.
No, it doesn't matter about the rumor. It's just like it'd be we weigh our opinion. Like, would you want a 16-year-old? It'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. He's in high school in the comic books, like, and Marvel's known for always going back to their roots and really sticking true to the characters, like, you know what I mean, like things like that. There's no harm in talking about what we feel about rumors and speculation.
No, I know. I try to pick and choose the ones that I do. Like the one with J.J. Abrams, I felt was a good rumor to talk about.
Yeah, it's like that one I thought was cool news, but like that one I probably would have left out, I think.
Yeah, but because you guys don't want to talk about, it's because you guys don't want to talk about anything Star Wars.
Star Wars movies. I just don't care about the cartoon that as much because I'm not watching it.
That's not about the cartoon.
I'm saying I don't care about the Star Wars cartoon.
Oh, yeah, well, it's because you're not watching it. If you were watching it, you'd care.
And I just said because I'm not watching it.
Yeah.
But we talk about superheroes a lot. Speculating on rumors about casting a very important character is cool to me.
Yeah,
and
fair.
It's interesting as well that this guy auditioned for Spider-Man like so soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Does that mean maybe that they're going to shoot a little sequence with Spider-Man or something for... I guess Age of Ultron is probably too late.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be an Ant-Man, I don't think. That's probably too late for that, too.
I don't know. Maybe not. No, they do reshoots right now, actually, with Ant-Man.
No, Ant-Man's done filming.
Yeah, no, they do reshoots.
Oh, reshoots. Oh.
Yeah, they always do reshoots like a couple months after once they edit shit. But I was also thinking, like, I think Avengers, it'll probably tease Infinity War, but I was hoping that it would tease Civil War. Like, it shouldn't necessarily always tease the next.
Well, it might, because Civil War starts filming next month, so.
Yeah, but like it'd just be cool if it teases the next thing that's coming up. You know what I mean?
It might be like that. I don't know.
Yeah, like when Avengers teased Thanos, and we're not going to see Thanos for another 2 years.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. It's going to tease Thanos because we saw Thanos a little bit in Guardians, and we're going to see him again because that's just how it works.
No, I know. I mean, but like, end of Avengers teased Thanos, and we didn't see any more about Thanos until this year. You know.
Yeah, but I thought it would be cool though. Like, let's say they shoot a little scene with Spider-Man or whatever, right? When he's revealing himself, because it sets up for Civil War, and we see him take off the mask on the podium or whatever in front of the news and stuff. He talks about the Declaration Act or whatever, and he's the first one to do it or something like that. And the reveal of this teaser is us seeing that Spider-Man's in the MCU and seeing the actor they cast as well or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, how cool would that be? That'll never happen, obviously, but like.
Probably not in that fashion. But
no, you sound exactly like the guy from Slash Film about how not wanting to know anything and how much more cool it would be to see
Yeah, but think about that. Think about if the credits roll and you see Spider-Man in a suit, talking on a podium, and then all of a sudden he fucking takes his mask
how
off.
do you do that? Like, how do you not let that? How does that not leak out?
No, I know it would leak out, but like, could you imagine if it didn't though? And that's what everyone saw in the theater. Holy shit!
But you can imagine if they did though, right?
And it's a double thing, right? Because we also see who they cast as the actor.
I don't know if you can. I don't know if the first time you can show Spider-Man is him being demasked. I don't know if that's the.
But like, that's just in a perfect world when everyone reads comic books and they know of everything, right?
Yeah.
Spider-Man's fairly established. But so you think that the tag will be Spider-Man in some way though?
In Ant-Man?
Or in Ant-Man?
Avengers.
Avengers
is done. Ant-Man maybe.
Yeah, I guess yeah.
And also, like, how many characters are you gonna add to the Avengers? Because I've also heard a rumor that Quicksilver might be dead at the end of this movie. Because what are you gonna do? You're gonna add the Vision, you're gonna add Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, and then you're gonna add Ant-Man, and then maybe Wasp.
But they don't automatically become part of the Avengers. They're just like. Just because you're in the Avengers doesn't mean you're with them all the time.
But if you look at like the posters that are going to come up, they're all going to be in there in the action shot. They're all going to be part of the Avengers, not right away necessarily. But the Vision, I feel like the Vision won't be a part. I think he'll be like there when needed or something like that. You know what I mean? Like because he's not.
He's a little overpowered for a lot of them, right?
Like he's like the Martian Manhunter of the Marvel universe, basically.
Man, Martian Manhunter. Who are they going to cast for him in the DCU, right?
Michael J. White.
I know, like he's supposed to be black in his human form, but what if they cast Michael Cumberbatch? I know they got him for
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch. I said that.
His brother
they
Michael.
got him for Doctor Strange, which is great. I'm happy, but like, could you imagine him in the Justice League?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I mean, Jeremy, it doesn't have to be black. It's just the voice that we associate is like a very like.
No, but when he has his human form, he's black.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense because they need more diversity. But with adding, that's why they took him out of there and put Cyborg in. Jeff Johns and Jim Lee put Cyborg in the Justice League, not only for that, but because to modernize Justice League with technology being such a huge part of everything. It makes sense for Cyborg to step in there and Martian Manhunter to step out.
I guess. I don't know. I still like. You don't think a green person's diverse enough for you? No, but I get.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm just talking about in terms of human race and the colors that we have.
I do really like Martian Manhunter. He's one of those like extremely overpowered, characters again. Like you talk about like the Flash or.
Yeah, he's fun to play as in Lego Batman. Did you play as him in Lego Batman?
I haven't played that game.
Oh, I thought you bought it for your nephews or something.
Can you do phasing and stuff?
I don't live with them. I haven't.
I don't know. Well, like it's cool.
I did play.
There's this button for his human form, and his human form is like the Hulk, basically. It's like this giant green monster or whatever. Mm. And like when he flies around, it's like that weird, like curly, warpy flying that he does, or whatever. Like it's so sweet, like a dragon.
Curly, warpy flying that he does.
You know, like that intro he has in the Justice League cartoon.
Yeah.
Where he like twirls.
Yeah, he's like a dragon.
In Doom, when he's fighting, he turns into.
Yeah, like he always has those weird like motions. It's a very alien, motion.
Yeah. All right. Let me turn off the stream now. If anyone's still listening, we will be back in 2 weeks when I'll do the live stream all over again. Follow us then. We'll talk to you later.